We came out and took an auto to the cab stand. We took a cab to Kasera and from there took a local train to Bombay. I dropped him at his house and went home. By the time I reached home it's around midnight. I opened the door and went inside. Sahithi and Sneha were sitting and chatting. When I entered they both asked what happened. I said let me sit for a minute, I will explain everything. I sat down and explained to them what happened in Nasik. Sahithi asked how did that happen. I have not asked for details, I have to visit Nasik to find out what happened. That is for another day. Did you two get acquainted? They said in unison yes. How do you plan for sleeping arrangements? I am fully tired, I will sleep on standing. Sahithi said you sleep in your room for today. We will discuss it tomorrow. I said thanks and went to my room and laid down. In the morning I got up at 7 a.m. I went to the bathroom and brushed and came out. Went into the kitchen, made myself a coffee and came and sat on the bed and lit a fag. Now Sneha has returned and we are in Sahithi's home. What should be our future plans? I need to sit down and speak with two of them. I have to check my bank balance. I have used lots of money for household items. I am still saving but not like before. I used to save like a miser before for buying the house. Now whatever is left over in the month I am saving, but that is also a substantial amount. Sahithi spends some money on household expenses and I don't ask her for financial details. Let us see what she says about this situation. I always plan for the future but I have not planned for this situation. Now lives of 5 people are dependent on the decision we are about to take. After finishing coffee and fag, I went to the kitchen, rinsed the cup and put it in the stand and came out into the hall. Sat on the sofa and looked at the door to the bedroom. They must be still asleep. Normally I would prepare coffee and wake up Sahithi. Now I don't know what to do. I waited for some time and made 2 cups of coffee and took them to the bedroom. I went in and looked at both of them sleeping with kids in between them. I called both of them. When Sahithi opened her eyes I showed cups and said get up and have coffee. She got up and took 1 cup and I put the other cup on the side table. I came out of the bedroom and went to the bathroom. Had my bath and went to my room for a change of clothes. I kept my clothes in my bedroom only. Dressed up and came into the hall. Then went into the kitchen and started preparing breakfast. I had to go to the factory to speak with Kurat and Mr. Trivedi regarding the Nasik matter. My scooter is at Bacola. I left it there when bringing Sneha and the kids here. Sahithi came into the kitchen, rinsed her cup and put it on the stand. I said I don't have my scooter with me. I will drop you and go to the factory, then I might have to go to Nasik again. We will speak when I return. She said okay, I am going for a bath. I said okay and kissed her. She went away to take bath. I finished preparing breakfast, put it in a bowl and brought it to the hall to put it on the table. Sneha came out with her cup and went to the kitchen. She came out and said did you prepare breakfast? I would have done it. I said I am getting delayed. I have to speak with Kurat and his father and I might have to go to Nasik to fix the matter. She said okay. I put the breakfast on my plate and started eating. I asked Sneha to get me a cup of tea. She went inside the kitchen to prepare tea. By the time I finished, Sahithi came after bath and came and sat at the table. I told her to have breakfast and be ready. I took an auto, dropped Sahithi at her office and went to the factory. Sahithi. The kids are very cute. They are my husband's children, even though they are not born to me. One advantage is that he may not ask me for kids. I am scared of childbearing. Who will go through all this pain just for children? I am better off as it is. Now I have to plan for her stay. What should I do? Let them stay with us or tell him to take her somewhere else? If I say take them somewhere else, what would he do? Take them back to his parents' place, where he was staying. Then he may not come back to me. It would be like I drove him away from me. Then he may ask for a divorce from me because his wife has come back. Maybe our marriage may become null and void. What I have to do is keep him close to me. We were already married. He would be bound by me. He is a man of honor and principles. He would honor our marriage until I break any rules. The push should not come from me. It should be from her. The best scenario would be I let her stay with us. I have to decide because it is my house. Then slowly seeing our love, she may resent me and force him to put her somewhere else. The push should come from her. Then she would become the villain. I would be heroine in this story. I have to turn the situation in my favor. Kumar said he would be going to Nasik. I have to plan their living situation. I should be shown as the greater person in this relationship. I have to show the world that I have tolerated everything for her and him. This way, if any push comes, he should choose me over her. The evening I took permission to go early and went and ordered a double cot bed with a mattress, pillows and bed sheets. The bed and mattress will be delivered tomorrow. I will plan this way. The single bed in Kumar's room I will shift to the main bedroom. The new bed I will put in Kumar's room and will make it our room. She can put the kids on the single bed and she can occupy the bed in that room. 2 beds cannot go in Kumar's room. My bedroom is bigger, so it can take 2 beds. This way I can become a bigger person. I have sacrificed my bedroom to her. He can decide where he can sleep. At this time, with the kids' constant awakening, he may decide to sleep with me. That is a brilliant idea. Even if he decides to sleep with us on alternate days, he will end up sleeping with me daily. I reached home and entered the house with my latchkey. Sneha is playing with kids in the hall. Seeing them, my motherly instinct kicked in. I took Reena in my hands and kissed and played with her for some time. I gave her back and said I will have a bath and come. Sneha said Kumar went over to Nasik, may not come back today. I said okay and went to bathe. I completed the bath and came back. Sneha preparing for dinner. I said I would prepare dinner. She said don't worry, you work a full day and come home. I have no problem preparing dinner, you just watch kids. I said okay and sat down with them. Playing with the kids is a pleasure that can't be described. I don't know how time passed. Sneha came and announced dinner is ready. She said you have dinner, I will watch the kids. I said we will sit here and have dinner, put it in plates and bring it here. We sat beside the kids and had our dinner. This is all a new experience for me. Somewhere in the corner of my brain, I felt if she doing all this to hook me to the kids, then I would not keep them away from me. Then I dismissed the thought, she would not do that, she is not that bright. What I don't know is what lengths women go to get their things if they set their minds to it. Sneha. From her talks and actions, it seems she has accepted the situation and would like to make amends. We both shifted the small bed from the other bedroom into the main bedroom. She said she has ordered another bed for that room. I can keep the main bedroom for myself and the kids can sleep on the single bed and I can use the double bed. She means I can have the bed and Kumar also, is it? So, she has agreed to share Kumar with me. Is it the other way? Is it not me who has to accept to share him? I have loved him first and he loved me first. We are married first. I had the kids first and she has no kids. From her talks, it seems she does not have any intentions of having kids. She seems to be scared of childbirth. She has seen her friend die in childbirth. From the time she is scared. That would be to my advantage. I have to attach one of my kids to her. She seemed to get attached to Reena. She has not taken Atul in hand but has taken Reena into her hand multiple times. If she is so keen, I should attach Reena to her and may make her call mom. That would be the best way to pull her heartstrings. According to her, this house was given to her by her grandmother, but the household items like gas, fridge, TV, and washing machine are all brought by Kumar. If she pushes us out, we can take all this and she will be left with an empty house. Then the next day she will be behind us to come back. I have to deal with her with kid gloves. I don't know her fully. I don't know her temperament or her strengths or weaknesses. I have to find these two first, to deal with her. She seemed to love him, even after knowing he is married. What kind of love is that? Or has she taken advantage of the situation? Why did I go away like an idiot? It was my mistake to believe them knowingly. It is the worst blunder in my life. My family says loving Kumar is a blunder I have committed. How loving a person can be a blunder. What do they know about love? We have been together for 2 years. We never committed an act we would regret later. He has so much patience and willpower to be so gentlemanly. He never treated me abusively. Even in anger, he controls himself. Then speaks sweetly with me. He did not even scold me for going away without informing him. How he must have felt all these days. She has taken the advantage of his situation. What mom says, he was in a very poor state when she intervened. It was Kurat who has sent her there to his house. One way she has done a good thing to make him normal, another way she has hooked him to her. When I heard he married her, he might have married her because she might be pregnant. But nothing like that. Like us, he does not want to touch her until marriage. So, it must be his principles. He does not want to take advantage of living with her. Overall, I am in a good situation. I should not spoil this by fighting with her and lowering my status in front of Kumar. Kumar. I went to the factory and had chat with Kurat and his father. From what Kurat says, he has ordered the machinery and when they have arrived got them installed in the factory. The payments were made by the company's bank account signed by Dolly and another investor. He is only involved in the selection of machinery and getting them installed. I said even if someone has asked for a loan putting the factory and its machinery as collateral, why the bank has raised a complaint? What did the bank's hand in this? Is it to discredit Kurat and his work of setting up the factory and disown him and his work? What is their motive behind all this? I have to go and find out. I told Kurat it would be better if you stay here for the time being. I will go and inquire there. I went to Dadar and from there I caught a local train to Kasera. From Kasera I engaged a sharing cab and reached Nasik. I rang up the lawyer and asked for a meeting with him. He said come over to his office and gave me an address. I went to his office and inquired about the progress of the case. We both went to the police station and asked to see any evidence they might have. They said they only have the complaint from the bank. I asked how can you act from the complaint, without any enquiry? They said that is why we did not arrest Kurat. We brought him for enquiry only. Then go and collect from the bank the details of the loan. We will go to court and file an injunction for them to give the details of the loan application and the bank account details. I said to the lawyer you prepare an injunction against the bank for providing the details of the loan against which they have complained. You also prepare a legal notice against the bank for a defamation suit on behalf of Kurat. We will serve them the notice if they are unwilling to provide the details. We went to the lawyer's office and prepared both of them and went to court and filed for injunction against the bank for providing the details of the bank account details and loan application details. We received the injunction from the court against the bank and we went and served the same with the bank. They said they will consult their legal counsel and come back to us. I said I will stay at a nearby hotel and went and took a hotel room and put my bag. Sneha. Sahithi went over to the office and I am left alone with the kids in the house. After 1 hour someone rang the bell. I opened the door. They came to deliver the bed. I put them in the second bedroom. They put it where I suggested and took the signature on delivery challan and went away. I checked the bed, it was better than the one in the main bedroom. She must have got this for her use. I arranged everything. Now the room seemed smaller. Another small bed would not fit there. That might be the reason. She put the single bed in the other room. I heard one of the kids crying. It must be Reena and went over to look after the kids. Sahithi. I came home from the office around 6:30 p.m. Even though I have more work, I left the office thinking Sneha would be alone with the kids. I seem to have found an attachment with Reena. I wanted to go home and hold her in my hands. I opened the door with my keys and entered and the hall was empty. I looked into the bedroom, the kids were sleeping on the single cot. I looked into the other bedroom. The new bed was set up and nice looking. I went in and sat on the bed. The touch of the soft bed is nice and I felt drowsy just by sitting on it. I thought how nice it would be to sleep beside Kumar on this bed. Thinking about him aroused me. I went in and looked in the kitchen. Sneha was preparing something. I went and took a towel and went and had a bath and came out, put on a nightie. I went into the kitchen and asked Sneha, did Kumar call you? She replied yes, he will be staying in Nasik today. I said okay, what are you preparing? She said sambar. Kumar used to prepare dal, never made sambar. I said okay, smells nice, and came and sat on the sofa and switched on the TV. When I heard a cry from the bedroom, I went and looked, it's Atul who is crying. I went and lifted him and I felt a rush of emotions flow through me. I hugged him tightly and brought him to the kitchen. Seeing me holding Atul, who is sleeping calmly on my shoulder, she asked, is he crying? I said he was crying and I held him and he went to sleep. She said you seem to have a way with kids. You can put him back on the bed. I took him to the bedroom and put him on the bed and touched him lightly on the back. He moved a little and went back to sleep. I sat there and thought about the feeling I had when I held him. Is it what is mother's love? But I thought I was connected to Reena, but the feeling I had when I lifted Atul was much more than what I felt for Reena. How is this possible? Is it means I am more connected to Atul than Reena? Is it because he is Kumar's son? Sneha came and said dinner is ready. As both the kids are sleeping, I went with Sneha into the hall and sat at the dinner table. She served the food and we had our dinner and we went and sat in the bedroom with the kids. Kumar. I rang up Kurat and spoke to him regarding the details of the factory. I thought I should go and visit the factory and see its position. I asked him about the details of the staff and workers. He said they have appointed some workers and they have not started working yet. I asked what about Dolly and Mahira, where are they staying? They are in the same hotel I am staying. I said I will call him later, went down to the reception. I said I want to meet Dolly or Mahira. I was told they are staying in the hotel. He gave me their room number. I went to their room and knocked. Dolly opened the door. I said hi Dolly, is Mahira here? Dolly said she is in the bathroom. I asked can I come in? She opened the door wide and said come in. I went in and sat down on a chair. After 5 minutes Mahira came to the room dressed and sat down in front of me. I said hi Mahira. She said hi. I asked so, what is going on? Nothing important, she replied. I looked at Dolly. She just shrugged her shoulders. I thought their demeanor seems to show they don't care for anything, which seems unusual. Mahira is chatty. She can't stop talking. This I am sure. Now she is not talking, anything seems abnormal. I keep looking at one another. At last, Mahira spoke. How come you are here? I said I came over for some work. I am staying in the same hotel. Kurat told me you are also staying here. Dolly asked Kurat told you. I said yes. So how is the factory work is going on? Is it ready yet? Mahira said we are waiting for orders. I said you did not have any orders yet. Dolly said we have approached some customers. They are considering our offers. They are acting as if nothing has happened. I asked whose name the company is on. She said one of our investors is. He is a sleeping partner. He has given us the authority to run the company. I asked did you register your company? Yes, Dolly replied. I said then it would be in the registry. Is it a company or partnership? She said company. Then it would be easier to know, I said and got up and walked out. I called the lawyer from my room, asked him to find out whose name is the factory registered. Then we can follow the money. I went to my room and picked up a book. I always keep a book or two while traveling. It is a book by James Hadley Chase, Hit Them Where It Hurts Most. I was reading interestingly in the book when the hero was hit on his head from behind, the doorbell rang. I opened the door. Mahira was standing outside. I said come in. She came in and closed the door and locked it. I went and sat on the bed. She came and sat in a chair. I asked what is going on. She said I told Dolly I am going for a fag. I have to talk to you about the factory. Okay, tell me. I said. I will come later. I wanted to check your room. I will come after 10. Please keep the door unlocked. She opened the door, went away. I thought what did she want to tell me after 10? I went back to my book. I waited until 11 for Mahira to come and then locked the door and went to sleep. I heard knocking on the door. I switched on the light and looked at the time. It is 2 a.m. Who is at this time? I opened the door. It is Mahira at the door. I asked what are you doing at this time? She said let me come in. I moved aside so she could come in and closed and locked the door. I asked what happened. Why are you so late? She said Dolly is not letting me speak with anyone. I asked why. What is happening? Dolly was involved with a gang of people who cheat people. They have set up the factory. They will take a loan on the factory and machinery and then they will divert the money as payments to their companies. Then they will strip off all the machinery from the factory. The bank will lose the money they have lent. But why the bank has complained to the police? The money for the machinery is paid after the loan is allotted and now they have suspected the machinery will be stripped. Someone in their gang has warned the bank. They are trying to find out who is that. That means if the machinery is stripped, Kurat would have been arrested for fraud. Mahira said might be. I don't know who would be arrested. Because I don't have full details of the company. Now the factory has been sealed by police. They can't remove the machinery, so they are trying to cut down losses. I said let us go to Bombay before they find out you have slipped out. I will pack my bag and we will go. I picked my things in the bag and we slipped out of the hotel and went to the cab stand. We took a cab and reached Bombay. I took her to the factory and we sat with Kurat and his father. I explained the modus operandi of the people who hired Kurat, how he was about to fall into the trap. It is good that you have escaped in the nick of time. I will drop Mahira at her home and go home. Tell your lawyer the details and tell him to take necessary action there. Sneha. It is around 4 p.m. I heard the door opening and went into the hall. Kumar returned from Nasik. I went and hugged him. After a long time, I got to hug him. I showed him the arrangement of the bedrooms, how he planned to sleep, and it is his decision to sleep wherever he likes. I asked him, did you had your lunch? He said he had something at the factory. I will have a bath and come. After the bath, he went to his room to get his clothes. There were some adjustments and Sahiti has used the cupboard to put her clothes also. I removed his clothes and gave him. It was more than a year for me and I hugged him from behind. We spent some time having sex and when I heard the sound of one of the kids crying, went looking into the other bedroom. Kumar. I sat in the hall and switched on the TV. Kirat's problem is almost solved. It is now the police's duty to find the gang. Now about Mahira, how much she is involved and Dolly's involvement has to be determined. Now Mahira is safely at home and what she does in the future is her problem. Now I have to look at my problems. How to deal with these two ladies. One is a mother to my children and wife, other lady is also married to me and loves me and has taken a risk with her parents. Looked after me for a year. At least they seem to have agreed to stay together. Sahiti has given her room to Sneha and had taken a smaller room. That means Sahiti has accepted the situation. Sneha does not seem to mind the present situation and she has also bowed to the present situation. Now it is my turn to accept the situation. Around 6:30 Sahiti opened the door and entered. She saw me sitting, said hi. When did you return? I said this evening. Where is Sneha? She asked. I said must be with kids. She came and sat beside me and said, did she tell you about the sleeping arrangements? I said yes. She said it is your decision to finalize your routine. I said okay. Let us see how this will work out. She said I will change and come and went to my room as she shifted her clothes there. She took her clothes and went to the bathroom for a bath. She came after the bath and sat beside me. She asked to tell me what happened. I explained in detail what we deduced from the details gathered. In the meantime, Sneha came from the bedroom and said, you have come. Do you want to have tea? Sahiti replied yes. Sneha went into the kitchen, prepared tea and brought it. We had our tea and I went into my room to have fag. Now I have to choose a new place for my smoking. Chapter 9. 1988 month of January. Kumar. Now the kids are 1 year old. I have planned to have their birthday by calling near and dear. We have arranged the party at our house. It is a small party with cake cutting and dinner. We have my family, Kurat, Sahiti's office staff and some neighbors. Most of the neighbors are known to Sneha. She has started her practice at a small pace. She treats small things and provides medical certificates. Due to the kids, she could not work at a clinic or something like that. She treats neighbors who have cuts, sprains and things like that. Only a few people left for dinner. When the dinner was completed, one by one people left. Only my father and mother are left. I told them to stay the night as it is already late. I gave them my room and Sahiti slept with Sneha and I slept on sofa. In the morning mother said she want to stay for some time here to play with the kids. Father said he did not have any dresses here and he will go home and then go to the office. I said I will go later, get her some dresses. Father said he will pack a bag and keep it with neighbors. I dropped Sahiti at the office and I went to the factory. I inquired about any deliveries to the Bacola area. They said they have a delivery for the paint company. I said while returning I have to pick up a bag from our neighbors. They said okay. In the evening they brought the bag. I took the bag, picked up Sahithi and reached our home. I opened the door and went inside, dropping the bag on the table. Mother is playing with Atul. When Sneha came here, she did not stay there for long. Now it seems mother has taken a liking to Atul. As long as he is awake, she is keeping him on her lap or hands. One way it is good she has taken a liking to him, another way it seems she would spoil him, with her love. Sahithi. With the arrival of Kumar's mother, the house atmosphere has changed considerably. She seems to like me more than Sneha. Maybe her going away without informing might have something to do with her thinking. Another thing, when Kumar was down, I had taken him in my house and made him normal might also have something to do with her liking me more than Sneha. When we returned home, she asked me what I like to eat. I said anything is okay with me. We had dinner and we watched TV for some time. Kumar's mother said she would like to sleep with the kids. She slept with Sneha and we both slept in the second bedroom. Correct. It seems Dolly is one of the masterminds in the scam to cheat people. Mahira met once or twice after that. She said sorry that I did not know about Dolly. I thought you liked her. I did not know about her background. She also used me to meet other people. How many people were trapped by her? I don't know. I heard she is still at large. She is good at avoiding the police. She must be in Delhi or Calcutta by now. I said at least I escaped unscathed. I am grateful for Kumar who has come for help at the correct time and has taken measures to save me from them. I asked her why you did not come for the kid's birthday. Did he not invite you? She said he called me at the house and I did not take his call. Kumar was asking about you. He wanted to thank you for the information you gave him. You did not meet after coming back from Nasik. She said I should thank him. He has brought me from Nasik in the night to here. Otherwise, I would be stuck with Dolly and her gang. She did not suspect then. Otherwise, I would not able to get away. Thank him from my side. I said I would do that. Sahithi. Kumar's mom said come we will go shopping. I will get you some bangles. I took her to a nearby shop. On the way, she was asking why did you let Sneha stay at your place. I said if I did not let her stay with us, Kumar might take her maybe to your place and I might not see him again. She said that is also there, you should make her go back to her parents' place. Once she went away without informing anyone. Why did she come back? I did not like her when she went away like that. You have seen what Kumar made himself off. If you had not come that time, what would have happened to him? He was ignoring work, food and everything. I will accept the children are his only. But why does she should come back when you are having a good life, again to bring conflict in your life? I said I like the kids. I don't have any problem with her coming back. She said you should take the kids and let her go back to her parents. I said don't worry about that. She is required here. If we take the kids and let her go away, who will look after the kids? We had to appoint an ayah or a servant for the kids. They may not look at the kids like their mother. Let her stay how long she wants to stay. I also did not understand why did she had returned now. Maybe someone must have informed Kumar had married again. As our house approached, we have discontinued our discussion. The thing why did she return was behind my mind for a long time. Sneha. I have not seen the support she offered after our marriage, is not seen in Kumar's mother now. She must be still angry that I went away without informing anyone from her daughter's marriage. Maybe she was angry that at the marriage, she had to explain to everyone what happened to me. She must have felt humiliated in front of relatives who had come to the marriage. She must be keeping that anger still in her mind. That might be the reason she was more distant with me. She was talking very freely with Sahithi. She is also good with the kids. When I came over, I had a doubt, would she accept the kids as grandkids? But she must have accepted the fact that they are Kumar's children. I had no doubt about Kumar accepting them. He was the same Kumar I fell in love with, the same Kumar I eloped with and married. He did not change a bit, he accepted me as I was. He did not keep any anger in himself, he seemed glad that I returned back. It did not matter to him that he already married thinking I might not return. What would they have filled his mind to get him to marry her? She must have done a number on him. I know him for what, 8 years now. How he was with me all these years. It was my mistake to believe what Suresh told me that day. But he has twisted the reality into their narrative and told me lies to get me away from Kumar. After all, this happened. How did I believe what they said? When they said those things about Kumar, why did I believe them? It was my foolishness not to realize they could be telling lies about him, and I paid the price for that. I had to stay away from Kumar for more than a year, and the situation had turned so bad he had to get married and I had to share Kumar with her. What my life became because I believed what they made me believe. I am myself to blame, none other. Kumar. I asked Kurat. I wanted to meet Mahira. He arranged to meet her at the usual restaurant near Andheri station. I took a packet of fags and entered the restaurant. This time she is alone and none of her usual friends were there. Kurat asked her, where is everybody? She said, I have become untouchable with them. They have all abandoned me. I said, nobody abandoned you. True friends always return. I came to say thanks and sorry, I have misunderstood you. She asked, why sorry? I thought at the beginning you were after Kirat's money. But what you have done in Nasik has opened my eyes. She said, I heard you had your twins' birthday. When did you have kids? I did not know. I said my wife went away to her grandparents' house and they did not let her contact me. She gave birth there, and when the kids were 6 months, she returned. By the time thinking she would not return, I married again. She laughed. You married again and now you have 2 wives. I said yes, I am sandwiched between 2 wives. She asked who is enjoying the sandwich. We got up to go home. She asked Kurat, can you drop me off? I said, I will be going that side. I will drop you off. Kurat needs to drop you and come back. She said okay. I took her and dropped her at her house. She said, come and meet my family. I said, some other time. I was about to start the scooter. I heard a voice call Mahi. I looked behind. Her sister was coming down the stairs. She introduced me as Kumar and she is Farida. I said, glad to meet you, and drove off to my house. Kurat. I think we can continue our friendship with Mahira. Kumar, instead of being angry with her, told her sorry and thanked her for her help in Nasik. She also seemed to be lost after the Nasik incident. All her friends seemed to have disappeared. She was sitting alone. I felt sorry for that. She thought that by starting the Nasik factory, she could get some business for them. She wanted to show her marketing skills. Instead, she had herself troubled by them, as I was. I asked her where she is working now. She said nowhere in particular. She had appeared for an interview with a company, waiting for their response. I said, you will get somewhere, don't worry. She said, I am not worrying, only looking for some work. I got up and said bye to her, went to my house. Sahithi. I thought over what Mom said about Sneha. It only seems she has anger issues with Sneha. It might change over time and she might change her opinion of her. Another thing is, why should we take over the kids and make her run away again? Let her look after the children. Why should we take the burden of looking after 2 kids? Also, she is not sitting idle. She is looking after the home, preparing food, doing the household chores, doing her doctorly things, whatever she is doing. When I needed to submit a doctor certificate for leave, she had given me that. I thought about where I had to go and look for them. She is also not demanding much of Kumar's attention. Most of the time Kumar is sleeping with me only. It seems she has lost interest in Kumar. That is also to my advantage. Why should I take her as my competition? She will stay as a maid in my house. If she does any harakiri, she would have to go away from my home. She can't remove me from my house. If she wants, she can go away and stay at Kumar's parents' place. His mother may resent that. I have to concentrate on work. Promotions are upon us, and also increments. Sneha. After coming back from shopping, Sahithi's demeanor has changed. What Mom might have told her about me. I think she is trying to act normal with me. Now as Mom went away, our house might come back to normal. Or all mothers-in-laws being the same. At least she is not staying with us, or we are not staying with her. She would put fire between people. What Sahithi thinks about her. She would think she is God because she is supporting her. What would be Kumar's take on all this? He would act neutral. What would he lose? He is acting neutral from the time I returned back. He is not supporting Sahithi or me or his mom. He is like, don't bring me into your women's problems. He has learned to shrink away from responsibilities. He was also not like this with me. He spends his time mostly in the hall or in her bedroom. He seems like he resents children. If they wake up in the middle of the night, he would go to her room to sleep. Slowly he started sleeping there only as if the kids are disturbing his sleep. I don't get enough sleep with 2 kids. He must still be having reservations about the kids, or is it that because I went away he acting like that? At least he is letting me live with him. He did not put us at a different place and come once in a while. At least he is in front of me. I have to change my strategy with him. I should pull him towards me. Kumar. Sister sent her son to stay with mom for some time. Mother asked me to send Sneha for some time there to help in the house. I took Sneha and the kids by cab and left them there. I went to the paints company for a check collection. I took the check and went to meet the purchase manager. His name is Muralitharan and he is from Madras. I spoke to him about purchases. There is an old man named Patel, who is a Gujarati, who cracks jokes. There is a cabin at the side. I asked whose cabin is that. He said it is a server room. I asked what is a server room. It is where we keep our computer server. I looked through the glass. There is a tall computer and lots of wires going from that. He said it is a Unix server. I said okay and took the orders and went back to the office. I gave the orders to Kurat and said I had been to the paints company. They had a cabin in the purchasing department. He is saying it is a server room. They have computers there. On his desk, there is a small box and a TV. He said it is a terminal. From there they feed the purchase bills on the computer. He printed this purchase order from the terminal. Now they don't have to write them on paper and give us. It will be clear to us, right? We can't make mistakes now. We can't say we have read them wrong. He said we have to be more careful fulfilling their orders. We should also get computers, I said. He asked what will we do getting a computer. I said we have to learn to use the computers. There are some institutes that teach the computers like Apple Computer Institute, DataPro, etc. I heard computers will be our future. Kurat said we don't know anything about computers. What will we do with them? In the evening I picked Sahithi and went to our house. I opened the door and entered. House seems empty without kids and Sneha. There was no one to bring me tea when I come home. Now I understood how much I miss her and the kids. Sahithi prepared dinner reluctantly. She was habituated with Sneha preparing everything. After dinner, we sat in front of the TV. We watched for some time and retired to our room. After a long time, we were alone and we enjoyed the night. I got up around 7 a.m. I prepared coffee and woke Sahithi. I asked her, are you preparing breakfast, or shall I? She said she will. I went to bathe and dressed and came to the hall. She brought the breakfast and put it on the table. I looked at Sahithi. After how long did she prepare breakfast? After Sneha came back. This must be the first time. I miss the kids. They are always moving around making some sounds or other. When they are not around, we will know how much we miss them. Does Sahithi miss them? I don't think so. She might feel them as a disturbance. As soon as they get up, they come into our room and wake us up. Sneha. I have been at Kumar's parents' place for a week now. To look after 3 kids is a very difficult thing. At least to please Kumar's mom I have to help her with the boy. It has become very difficult for mom to look after the boy even with my help. She called her daughter and she came and took him away. I returned home. I returned home after a month and I found the home in disarray. I always keep the house in tip-top condition. Might be their busy schedule. They have not been able to look after the house. I put the kids to sleep, started reorganizing the house. It took me 2 hours to clean up the house. I sat beside the sleeping kids and thought about what my life become. I might have left home without telling anyone. He has married someone else in the meantime. When I came to know about his marriage I came back with kids. I have accepted her even though I could have asked for their marriage to be nullified. I did no such thing. I let them look down upon me for the kids' sake. If I ask him to keep at a separate house, then he may keep us at a separate house, but he may not come to our house regularly. At least now he is in front of me every day. Better to maintain the status quo with Kumar and Sahithi. I have myself to blame for this situation. If I had not gone away, Kumar would not have dared to do this. He would never have married her. He must have thought I would not return back after knowing about kids. Did he think the kids were not his? Someone from Vijayawada must have informed him about me having kids. They may not have known the age of the kids. Or have not informed him. He must have thought, I must have married again, and he took this step. I know him well. He would not take this kind of step lightly. I was told he was staying with her for a year before marrying her. Sahithi told me that before marriage, he did not even touch her. It is his character. When she asked him to spend the night with her, he asked her to marry first. He did not touch her before marriage. Did he marry her for sex? I heard the doorbell and opened the door. The watchman came to deliver the electricity bills. I took it and closed the door. My chain of thoughts broken. I started preparing food for the kids. Sahithi. We returned home and opened the door with my key. Finding Sneha is a relief for me. Doing the household work has become difficult. Kumar also not helping as he did previously. After Sneha came to stay with us, she used to do all the household chores, and I have started concentrating on our office work, ignoring household work. For the last month, I had literally done everything around the house. I thought of telling her not to go away for such a long time. Then thought if I tell her that she might think she has become irreplaceable and will get proud. Even though she is not a real doctor, she acts like one. She is suitable for villages, from where she came. At least her medical certificates are useful for us. Let her look after the house and kids. She is fit for maid work only. Curate. After Mahira's meeting with Kumar, I heaved a sigh of relief. I thought she was totally responsible for the Nasik fiasco. After Kumar explained everything when he met her, it was clear that she is also a victim as much I am. I have lost a few months of work as her. But we both could get out of the mess thanks to Kumar's timely intervention. He had saved both of us from humiliation and whatnot. That is the reason I have not taken over his position of manager. Let him continue in the position I gave him when I went to Nasik. At present I am brainstorming with Mahira. We could do something together. She had regained my trust in her. Maybe her other friends might come back to her. Kumar. Sneha returned. I felt relieved from the daily chores. She has spoiled our routines. I missed seeing the kids. I went there once or twice when visiting Bakola to see the kids. Sahithi did not seem interested to visit. Did she really like kids, or it's just show off? When Sneha returned, she acted as if she missed the kids. Then why did she not show interest in going to see them? She could have gone there when visiting her parents. Is it because she has not informed her parents about Sneha? One way she is also right. What she could say, my husband's first wife has returned. She did not inform them at the time of our marriage. She is marrying an already married person. Only her sister knew about me. What she might have told Sahithi when she knew about Sneha returning. What advice she might have given her. I am getting bored with the factory work. It has become routine and nothing else. At least Kurat let me be manager. Otherwise, I might have left if he has demoted me. He let me handle the factory as I seem fit. If anything, major, I would go to Kurat, else I am capable of taking decisions on my own. Sometimes I feel, what am I doing in this factory? Kurat. Mahira came to me with a proposal for a hotel. There is a hotel between Bombay Central and Central Bus Stand. The owner who was running it was dead a few months back. His son is not interested in running it and wants to lease it to anyone who wants to run it. He will take a low rent but want a share in the profits as he wants to go and work abroad. I asked what is his name. She said, Kista Rao. I said let us go and meet him and see the hotel, then we will decide. She took me to Kista Rao. He is young, around 22 years. He seems to have not done any work in his life. It is in a very good locality. Between station and bus stand. There will be floating populations. Lots of people move around the hotel. I asked him about the lease and profit sharing. He put his demands forward. They seemed acceptable. First, we have to do some work at the hotel. Painting the hotel, changing some furniture, etc. We have to estimate the cost of beautifying the hotel. We went to the first floor and second floor. The first floor was open without any rooms. It can be set up with beds and rented as beds. The second floor has around 10 rooms. They can be given as single rooms after putting up beds. I asked him why these 2 floors were not used. He said he had no idea. I said to Mahira, all these setups will cost money. Let us go and check the prices of furniture and beds. We went to a nearby furniture shop and inquired about the prices for bulk orders. I said we will come back later and came out. We went to Inderi and made cost estimates for setting up the hotel. I thought, will the father be willing to put up the money? Let us check if any other people are willing to invest. I went to the factory and explained to Kumar about the hotel running. When I said the hotel is near Bombay Central, he had shown interest and asked how much investment is needed. I explained to him the details of the painting, furniture. He said he will think about it. I explained to father about the hotel. He said, are you capable of running it? The location is perfect. He asked who else is investing. I said Mahira will invest a little but will also help in running it. Kumar said he will think about it. If he invests he will also help in running, but he had to look after the factory. I will be busy with the hotel. I am leaving everything to him to look after in the factory. Father said after collecting the investments come back to me, I will put up the rest. I said thanks and came out. I asked Kumar what should we name the hotel. He said we should name it Bed and Breakfast. He said he had read that they are very famous in the US. Kumar. I discussed with Sahiti the proposal of the hotel. She said she has some savings. She would like to invest. I also have some savings. I was not saving like before but kept adding to my savings. I told Kurat that our willingness to invest with them. Sahiti's work pressure increased because they have changed her position and put her in the typing pool. She has full work pressure as everyone asks for her because of her experience. She could not cope with the work and comes home fully tired. One night I had an upset stomach and went to the bathroom in the middle of the night. When I returned, Sahiti was looking out for me and asked me where I was. I said I had an upset stomach and went to the bathroom. She said okay, sleep. She seemed not to believe me. What did I do for her not to believe me? Then it struck me. She seemed to have thought that I might have gone to Sneha for sex. What do these women think? Can't we go to the bathroom? I inquired about the prices from where I purchased our furniture. When I told him I would like to buy in bulk, he said he would give me competitive prices for the same furniture offered by the shop at Bombay Central. He said they had overhead costs, which are higher than his, and he could give the best prices. I told Kurat about the offer by the furniture store. He said we can order from here and take it by our van if we get better prices. I ordered the furniture and sent them by our delivery van to the hotel. The painting of the hotel was completed and our workers arranged the furniture at the required places. The first floor was set up as a dormitory with the beds placed side by side with some gaps, and we provided cupboards at the sides for each bed. If they have more luggage, we have a luggage storage facility available. This dormitory is useful for those who come and stay the night and go on their work. If they like, they can come back and sleep and go according to their train or bus timings. The second floor we set up as individual rooms. On the ground floor, we have a restaurant, reception, kitchen, 1 room for storage and 3 rooms for staff to stay. We have put normal cots in these 3 rooms. Now the hotel is set up and ready for inauguration. We got a local politician to open the hotel. We have got staff for the restaurant and hotel. We started operations. Kurat was sitting at the cash counter in restaurant. Mahira was looking after the reception of the hotel. In the night, Kurat would close the restaurant and look after the reception. More people were visiting the hotel at night and most of them would leave in the morning after breakfast. Slowly we started getting patronized by the hotel and restaurant. We had our restaurant full throughout the day and our cooks are kept fully busy. We offered them both South Indian and North Indian foods. There are very few restaurants offering both that are also very tasteful. People used to sit and eat. Some used to get packed food and get on train or bus. We calculated we would recover our costs within a year. Kurat. We have a heavy rush throughout the day and it has become difficult to look after the restaurant cash counter. We thought we need someone trustworthy to sit at the counter. I asked Kumar can his wife look after the counter as she is keeping at home only. He said she also has to look after the kids and this hotel is far from home, she will have trouble traveling. We have to make alternate arrangements. For the time being, I asked Mahira to come and relieve me from time to time from the counter. Kumar. Kurat asked me to help out at the restaurant. I went there and returned late in the night to the house. Both the ladies seemed to have had a fight and were sitting with stern faces. I asked each one what is the problem. They did not reply to me, instead pointed to others. I remembered my night visit to Sneha's room. Is it the reason for their fight? After cajoling her, Sneha told me to take her away from here. Now where I will take her at that time of the night? I told her I will do something the next morning. I slept on the sofa in the hall for the night. I thought hard, what can I do? I can take her to my parents' place and leave her there. But how long can I keep her there? Another thing is Kurat is asking for help at the restaurant, can she help out there? There are rooms available where she can stay. Mahira is also staying there at night. Both of them can keep each other's company. I called Kurat and said I am bringing Sneha there, keep a room free for her. Or keep a room on the second floor for Sneha and Mahira to stay. He said he will make some arrangements for them. I took her to the hotel with some clothes for her and the kids and left them there. This way Sneha became part of the running hotel. I told Kurat we need to install an intercom in our hotel and restaurant. He agreed to it and asked me to check the pricing. Sneha. Sahithi picked a fight for a small thing and started talking as if I am staying at her home for free. I said to Kumar to take me away from here. He took me to the hotel and put me there in a room. Now I was given charge of the kitchen and storeroom. I had to give the items to the kitchen team from the storeroom and look after the working of the kitchen. This way we could reduce the wastage in the kitchen. I taught the kitchen team about preparing the South Indian dishes. The only problem with this arrangement is that I could not see Kumar daily. He would come sometimes to the hotel and I could spend some time with him. Sometimes Mahira would leave me to look after the reception when she is needed in the restaurant. In the daytime, there would be less rush in the hotel, but someone is always needed at the reception. We did not have phones in the rooms and the guests had to leave messages through the staff. Kurat. Bringing Sneha. Kumar did us all great help. She has taken over kitchen and storeroom management. She checks the stocks and gets them purchased before stocks run out. She sits whenever required at reception. Mahira can come and look after the restaurant. Before we could not get time to go to the toilet, now we can take time off for a fag or something like that. But she might be missing Kumar. Sometimes he comes over and spends some time here. It is after 11 p.m. and I heard shouting from the kitchen. From the reception I ran towards the kitchen. It seems Sneha's sari caught fire and she is burning like a flame. Someone brought a blanket and put it on her. We called an ambulance. It came after 15 minutes and took her to the hospital. I tried calling Kumar but the call did not go. I went to the hospital and saw her. She was in no position to talk. Doctors said there is no chance for her to recover as she got 90% burns. I tried again to call Kumar from the hospital. This time call went through and Kumar lifted the phone and said hello, sleepily. Kumar. I heard the telephone bell ringing from the hall. I looked at the watch. It is around 5 a.m. I went and lifted the phone and said hello. When I heard that Sneha had met with a fire accident, I fell on the floor. Sahithi must have woken up by the sound of the telephone, but when she heard the sound of my falling, she came out to check what is the sound. Finding me on the floor, she shook me and asked what happened. I sat up on the floor and said Sneha got in a fire accident. She asked she is not working in the kitchen as a cook. What is she doing in the kitchen? I said she must have gone there for kids' milk. She asked which hospital she is in. I lifted the phone and asked which hospital she is in. He said Nair Hospital and I said we will be there. We got dressed and left for the hospital. By the time we reached the hospital, she was gaining and losing conscience. I went near her and called her name. With difficulty she opened her eyes and closed them. I looked at the nurse. She said she is in no position to talk. We don't know how long she will be alive. There is no chance for her. Let the doctor come and check her. We waited on the bench outside the ward. After an hour a doctor came and declared her dead. I put my head on Sahithi's shoulder and wept like a baby. When she went away I had a glimmer of hope that she is somewhere alive. Now, all that hope is lost. I called home and informed Mom and Dad about Sneha. They said they will come immediately to the hospital. There will be formalities for the hospital with the police and post-mortem. We waited for the police to arrive and Kurat has given his version of events. I said I don't know what happened. She is staying there as a supervisor with our kids. They said they will go to the hotel and take others' statements and gave the hospital go-ahead with the post-mortem. We got the body by the evening. We took the body from there to the crematorium and finished our death ceremonies. After that, we came back to the hotel, picked kids and went to my parents' house. Thereafter having a bath and left the kids in the custody of my mother and said for the time being you look after the kids, Sahithi would help you. I will go home and bring us some clothes. I went home and brought some clothes for both of us. I pulled myself together for the sake of kids. Now they are without their mother. Will Sahithi look after them like her own? Only time will tell. Sahithi. It was very shocking to find about Sneha. I thought Kumar would not come back from the shock when I found him on the floor. But he gathered himself and took us to the hospital. When the doctors told him that she is no more, he was not that shocked. He must have anticipated that. He miraculously picked himself up after receiving the news. He just wept on my shoulder. My presence must have lessened his shock. After crying his heart out he became his normal self and completed all the formalities. Now he brought the kids to his parents' place and told his mother to look after the kids and I would also help her. I informed our office and took some leave. I have to see how I can look after the kids. In the course of the time he would ask me, can I look after the kids? If I have to look after the kids and attend the office, I need to appoint a maid for them in the daytime. I have to see how this works out. Many moms leave their kids at home and come to the office. There must be some creche nearby where I can leave the kids when they are a little older. Kurat. After the accident workers were reluctant to work the night in the kitchen. We had to close the restaurant early. Without Sneha's helping hand it has become very difficult to manage. Mahira is also affected by all this. When we received an offer from a hotel chain for converting the hotel into 5-star hotel, I informed Kista Rao about the offer. He is very happy and said to go ahead with the offer. Mahira did a good haggling with the hotel management and got us a good price. We collected our goodwill and gave the rest to Kista Rao, who is happy with the price received. This way our hotel business closed down. Mahira. We collected a good amount as a share of our hard work. Now I am left without any work. Kurat would go back to his factory. Other workers would get some work elsewhere. I started my job hunt. Part 3. After the death of Sneha. Chapter 1. The year 1989. Kumar. It is now 6 months since the death of Sneha. The police close the case as accidental death. I have some doubt in my mind that it may not be accidental but someone has a hand in it. I don't have any proof but had a nagging feeling. I am slowly coming out of her death. Sometimes I woke up in the middle of the night with sweat all over my body. Otherwise, I am back to a normal person. Sahithi is looking after the kids as if they are her own. Some consolation. I was scared of how she looks after them. Over time her attitude towards them was consistent and loving. They seemed to have forgotten Sneha and started treating her as their mother. Earlier they used to call Sneha Amma, now they are calling Sahithi Ae. Seeing her love towards kids I left her to deal with the kids as she deemed fit. Children's 3rd birthday coming but we decided not to celebrate as it is not even 1 year after Sneha's death. Mahira. After the closure of the hotel, I was looking out for a job. I saw a job posting and applied for the same. After a week I received the interview letter. I went over to the company. It was a courier company. Recently they have gone international by joining an international courier company. They are going ahead with expansion and they are appointing marketing executives. One Mr. Stephen, Mr. Rajesh and Mr. Jayachandran were taking interviews. Our interviews were taken in the conference room. We were sitting outside the room on chairs placed around. There were some cabins, One door marked President, others marked PA to the President, VP Marketing, AVP Marketing, etc. There were some girls sitting behind the tables with typewriters, must be their secretaries. When my name was called, I entered the cabin and said, "Good morning, sir, I am Mahira." They said their names, and Stephen, as the branch manager, asked me to sell a pen to Rajesh. I said to Rajesh, "You should buy this pen, you might need to sign something with it in the next hour." He asked what I need it for signing. I said my appointment order. He laughed and said, "Good. What if I don't buy it?" I said, "You will miss a good marketing person." He asked, "How good are you?" I said, "This good." You are continuing the conversation without dismissing me. One good trait of the salesman is that they should let the conversation flow. Stephen said, "A good argument." Rajesh said, "By continuing, can you sell your product? It will give you the opportunity to show the customer your product. Without having an opportunity, how will they know about your product?" Balachandar asked, "How will you sell our product?" I asked, "What are your product's superior traits?" He said, "We have joined with the biggest courier company in the world. We will bring their technology here. It will be revolutionary in India." I said, "You just said the selling points. I will follow up on these points for selling." Stephen said, "I think you are the best marketing personnel I have seen today. You are hired. We will give a salary as per our scales. You contact HR for that. If the salary is agreeable to you, you can join us." He took a form filled in my name and position and said to take it to the ground floor to the HR cabin. I said thanks and came out. Current. Mahira called me to the restaurant. I went there and asked her what is so urgent. She said, "I got a job as a marketing executive in a courier company." I asked, "Where is my party? Get Kumar also, I will give you both party." "How is he doing?" "He is better now. It is a big thing to get out. When his wife went missing, he became someone else. It took me a great deal of effort to get him back. Luckily, I found Sahiti. She brought him back. Now Sahiti is with him. He is better because of her. She is also looking after the kids. I thought he would go to pieces because of her death, but he recovered well. He is not ignoring work also. Now I am also there to supervise him." Mahira said, "Bring Kumar with you on Sunday, I will give you both a party." I said okay and left. Sahiti. Kumar is not still his former self. He gets up in the night terrorized. He gets up and sits with a cup of tea or coffee in front of him. I chided him for sitting like that and called him to bed many nights. Kumar's mother got a poor girl from the village to look after the kids. We gave her the second bedroom and we put the children there with her. I have exchanged the beds in the bedrooms. She looks after the kids during my working hours. I give her free time after reaching home. If the kids wake up in the night, she would look after them. Mom promised their family that we will look after the girl, and when she reaches age we will get her married to a suitable boy. Something she will look forward to. She helps me in the kitchen and keeps the home clean. She would be a good wife and mother when she marries. Without her, I could not cope with the work and children. I still miss Sneha. She would look after the house and children when she was alive. It was a bad day I fought with her. I still feel bad for fighting with her that day. She would not have gone to help at the hotel. When he said on that Sunday he is going to a party given by Mahira, I did not object. Let him enjoy himself with his friends. Kumar. I took permission from Sahiti for going to Mahira's party. Kurat came to collect me from home. Sahiti told him to take care of me. She told him he has become very sensitive after Sneha's death. He said he is aware and he will look after him. We went to Kandivali station where Mahira said she will give the party. There was a restaurant near the station. We went and sat in the 8C room. It was very dim lighting there. We could not see what is in front of us. There was a guy sitting there. She introduced him as Tony and he is looking after the Kandivali branch, where she was posted as a marketing executive under Balachandar, who is in charge of the branch. I said, "Glad to meet you." I can only see his outline. He is around 5 feet 8 inches in height with a broad body. She said he is a courier boy with the branch. They both visit companies in surrounding areas. She ordered drinks and we sat and sipped our drinks and ate what she ordered. After our lunch, we went and sat at their branch office. There was a sofa in the back room where they put their parcels for delivery. I went and laid there and went to sleep. Current. We let Kumar sleep off on the sofa. We sat at the counter and chatted. I asked Tony how he got his job. He said his sister is working at another branch and she recommended him. He talks with slang in a low tone. I said you should be in marketing. He said he did not have a degree. What did you study? I asked. He said 10th pass. I asked him, are you married? He said yes, but we are not staying together. She lives with her parents. I asked why did you get separated? She says I am not earning enough. Everything for her is not enough. She would fight every day. So, I shouted at her to get lost. She went away to her parents. I looked at Mahira. What is her take on all this? She just shrugged her shoulders, as if she is not interested in all this. I looked at Tony and then at Mahira. It seems something is brewing between them. Then I thought it is none of my business what she does. I should not get into anyone's personal business. The phone on the counter rang. He lifted the receiver and said hello in a low tone. His demeanor changed when he answered the phone. I thought this is the way he speaks with customers. Mahira and I were chatting about our past hotel. Tony must have spoken for about half an hour. I asked, who is it you are speaking for so long, your girlfriend? He said no, it is a wrong number. I thought if he speaks for half an hour for a wrong number, how long would he speak for a correct number? He said you are talking about a hotel. What happened? She said Kumar's wife had a fire accident in the hotel and workers are scared to work at night. They were saying some ghost killed her. I am taken aback by her words. This is the first time I am hearing of a ghost. I said, what ghost? She said it is just a rumor for the workers to avoid work. I asked if they did really see someone in the night. Then it would be murder. Who would murder her? Mahira said Kumar said she had some problems with her family. They took her away at his sister's marriage and she came back after a year. Would they do such a thing? There is no honor in these matters. They both were from different castes and her family did not approve of him. They took her away when Kumar came to Bombay for the summer holidays. He waited until she reached 18 and eloped with her and married. They had not approved of this marriage and tried to hurt him after the marriage. He was saved by the owners of the building he was staying. Then fearing for them he came to Bombay. I said then I met him on a local train and took him with me to a client. Seeing him handling the client I offered him my assistant post. From that time, he was working with me. He has been with me through thick and thin. He has helped me a lot. Because of him, we got out of a tricky situation with some cheaters, indicating Mahira and me. Tony asked he helped you both out of the situation, how? Mahira said when Kurat was taken to the police station, he came with a lawyer and got him out without any fuss and then came back to inquire. Then I went to his room and told him about them. He brought me from there in the middle of the night to Bombay. If he had not brought me that day, I fear what would have happened to me. I was forever indebted to him. My family did not let me go out for 6 months after that. They were scared to let me go out, else someone will come and kidnap me. Tony asks, he is dear to you both. Yes, we replied. He must be a good man at heart. He would give his life for others, I said. Mahira agreed with me. At first, he had reservations about me, I about him. I used to think he did not like me. I said he thought you were there to cheat us. He would warn me about you. But as time passed he changed his opinion about you. That must be after you asked me to get an advance for the order before taking up the order for the fire extinguishers. Mahira said that time I was not sure about them. That is the reason I told you to collect advance first. Tony said you three seem to have a history between yourselves. Mahira said we were together for 4 or 5 years. We have seen ups and downs during these years. Tony said we were discussing hotel and we went on a detour. Because of his wife's death, you sold the hotel. I said we got a good offer from a 5-star hotel, we took the money and saved ourselves. Otherwise, we might have had to close the hotel for non-cooperation from workers to work in the night. We had good business in the nights. Lots of travelers used to come to sleep there. Our dormitory used to be full with travelers. When dormitory filled they used to take rooms. We had a roaring business, but all that came down with the death of his wife. She was not at first not working with us, I asked him to get an extra hand and he sent her to help us out. It turned out this way. I feel sorry for him. He sent her to help us out and he became helpless. He loved her very much. He had endured a lot for her. We kept silent for some time. The phone rang and Tony picked up and started talking on the phone. Mahira and I kept looking at each other. I got up and went to the back room and looked at Kumar. He is snoring. I thought he is in heavy sleep. Not to disturb him and came out. Mahira asked, "How is he?" I said he is sound asleep. Sahithi was telling me he was not sleeping much. He gets up in the night and sits at the dining table with a cup of tea. He doesn't sleep much. Mahira asked, "So you are letting him sleep?" I said yes. Tony finished his talking on the phone and set down the receiver. Mahira looked at him. He said the same wrong number. She laughed and said, "You talk on wrong numbers for so long. When will the customers call?" He said, "We don't get customers calls much." She said, "This way no customer calls will come." He smiled and let the matter ride. I looked at Mahira. She gave me her card and said, "This is the branch phone number. I give this card to the customers when I visit them. If they call on this number for a pickup, what happens?" Tony said, "Then they will call the HOCC and they will take the details and route it to us." I asked, "You also have a customer care center?" She replied, "They recently started customer care. They are making lots of changes at the HO. They have appointed around 4 girls for CC. Tony said, "I have seen them. They took good-looking girls for CC." I asked who else they took for marketing. Another 4 or 5 girls they took. Some they will be transferring to other branches. I asked, "Are they any good?" "Some are good. We will know in a month's time who is good and who is not." I asked, "Really, what do you sell?" She said, "We sell service. We ask them to send their documents and parcels through courier and we give them discounted prices for regular customers. Some people come and give for cash at this counter. We charge them full price. Sometimes we go and collect from customers for cash also. Mostly we collect for international cash customers." I asked, "How much daily cash you get?" Tony said, "From 500 rupees to 2,000-3,000, if we get international parcels. Once we got a 400 kilogram parcel for an international destination. We called a van from the HO for collecting them. It was raining that day and we reached HO at around 9:30 p.m. Sometimes we can't maintain timings for our work. We have another 2 boys and we adjust work and timings. One boy goes to HO in the morning and collects parcels for delivery. If it is heavy parcels, they will be dropped here by the van and we have to deliver from here. Then one of the boys will take them to the customer as per route." I asked how the boys go to the customer. He said by bus or local train. I asked, "You don't have any vehicle?" Tony replied, "None of us have. 1 or 2 people in the HO has vehicles. You know, Rajesh used to be a courier boy. He used to deliver on his car. Then the BM has taken him over as marketing executive. Now they use his car to meet the clients." Seeing Kumar getting up in the back room, I went over to him and asked him, "Shall we go home?" He said, "Let us go." We took an auto and I dropped him first and went home. Kumar. After a long time, I had good sleep. I heard the voices from the office room, could not remember what they were talking. Kurt left me at home. I opened the door and sat down on the sofa. Hearing the sound of the door, Chitty came out from the room. She is the girl mother sent over to look after the children. She asked me, "Anna, do you want water?" I said no. "Where is Sahithi?" She replied, "She is sleeping in her room. Shall I wake her?" I said, "Let her sleep. Give me a cup of tea." She went over to the kitchen. I went over and looked at the kids. I felt pity for them. How much they are missing their mom. Can Sahithi look after them like their mother? Does she love them like their mother? How Chitty is looking after them. She came looking for me with a cup in her hand. She handed me the cup and said, "They are sleeping. They will wake up in an hour's time. I will bring them to you then." I said okay and got up and left the room with my cup. I used to smoke in my room previously. Now I had to go outside to smoke. I finished my tea and went down to smoke. I came back and went into the bedroom and changed into a nightdress and sat on the bed. I looked at Sahithi. I felt a feeling of love raise in my heart and kissed her on the forehead. She moved a little and went back to sleep. I sat there and thought, what happened to me? The one love I had was lost. What is the relation between us? Is it love? At least from her side, it seems to be love, otherwise, no one will do what she has done. She has brought me from the dump and put me here. I owe her my life. At least for her sake, I have to become normal and look after her and the kids. I can't become complacent with myself thinking about Sneha and her death. I have to act appropriately with the kids and their welfare. They have that many expectations from me. I went to the hall and sat down on the sofa, switching on the TV. Sahithi. I heard the door opening and Kumar speaking with Chitty. But I could not open my eyes due to sleep. I went back to sleep. I felt him sitting on the bed and kissing me on the forehead. Then he got up and went and switched on the TV. With difficulty, I opened my eyes, went over to the bathroom, washed my face and came out. Kumar sat there watching TV. I went there and sat beside him. He looked at me and said I love you. I thought when he last said the words. Did he ever say those words? I could not remember when he last said them. He said I am sorry if I hurt you any time. You are my lifeline. I can't live without you. Please don't leave me anytime. If you leave me I can't live anymore. You have been my support and my life. He put his head on my lap and started crying. I thought what brought this rush of emotions in him. He was normal when he left home. What they said to him at the party. Whatever happened, he seems to return to normal with his words. He would come back to me from his world and he would forget Sneha. I kept rubbing his head. After crying his heart out he got up and went to the bathroom, washed his face and came out. He seemed fresh, as if his mental clouds have dispersed. I thought if he came to know what I have done, what would be his reaction? Kumar. I felt relieved after saying sorry to Sahithi. I have ignored her for all these days. After Sneha came over, I could not give her enough time and I felt really guilty for what I have put her through. She had really endured so much for me. When Sneha left me, she brought back me to normal. Then again when Sneha met with the accident, if she had not been there, what would have happened to me? I could not imagine. She stood by me all these times. Now she is looking after my kids as her own. I let my thoughts fly and absent-mindedly looking at the TV. Current. Mahira called me to her house. She asked me to take her to some customers. I thought I would spend some time with her and see how she is handling the clients firsthand. I took my bike and reached her house. She was standing on her balcony. Seeing me, she came down and got in behind me and told me to go. I asked where. She said I will give directions. First start driving. We came out the gate. She said go right. I crossed over to and drove right. She took me to a company at Chikala. She went and offered the services of their company. She said they will give 25% in domestic and 10% in international prices as discounts. They tried to haggle for a discount. She said she could go for 30% in domestic and she can't go any extra discount for international parcels. They agreed to her proposal and she gave them the signed contract with discounts mentioned and they signed and gave her back. She gave them their copy and we came out. After that, she took me to their ho. There is a counter in a room in front of the gate and there is a small door beside that. She said the counter is for the branch where they collect courier for walk-in clients. The other door is for the operations room for ho. We went through the main door and she told me to sit on a chair and went behind the counter. I looked at the people sitting behind the counter. There is a girl about 5 feet with a round face and looked Catholic, and Catholic girl who is tall about 5 feet 6 inches. Both the girls were pretty and one guy also sitting there. He is small and thin, he also looked Catholic. I thought this company employee mostly Catholics for the customer service. There is a table and chair inside the room far behind. There another man is sitting. She took the signed contract and handed it to him. He saw the company name and asked her something and she replied to him. She came over to me and I asked who are all these people. She said they collect the parcels from walk-ins and give them receipts and collect cash. She introduced each one. The tall girl is Deandra, the short girl is Sandy and the short fellow is Melwin. I said pleased to meet you all to each one. She said to them he is Kurat, he runs a packing manufacturing company. In the meantime, a guy came with a parcel and asked them, do you have service for this area? To check the availability of the service, the tall girl took a heavy book from under the counter and started going through it. At last, she said, "We don't seem to have a service there. Let me check with the operations." She went inside and came after 2 minutes and said, "We have service there," and took the parcel and checked the contents and made receipt and collected the money. I asked, "Is this difficult to send parcels?" She said no. Sometimes we don't know if the service is available for interior areas. Then we have to check before accepting the parcel. Otherwise, if it is returned undelivered, we will be in a problem. At present we have services for major cities only. We both came out and she said to drop her at the Andheri station. I took her to Andheri. She stopped at her regular restaurant. I parked the bike and went with her inside. There were some of her friends sitting there and she went and sat there with them. I also went and sat with them. I looked around the people at the table: Chowdhury, Salim and Charsi Rakesh. I thought, she is back with Rakesh. Now how he will influence her. I got up and went out and brought 2 fags and gave her one and lit one. I looked at Mahira, she was her bubbly self with her gang. Finishing my fag, I said I will take leave and came out and went home. Kumar. It was 1 week from the time party with Mahira. My relation with Sahithi became normal again. We went back to the time before Sneha came back into our life. The only difference now is the kids. We came back home and she went inside to change. I took the kids and sat on the sofa. I sat them on both sides of me. I thought of what happened with Sneha, how she could leave and go away. Why did she leave at this young age? What really happened that day? She needs to do only supervision. What is she doing in the kitchen at such late hours? What did I hear from Kurat and Mahira talking about ghosts? Is it in my dream or did they were really talking about ghosts? Did Sneha become a ghost? Is it the reason for them selling the hotel? Did someone see her ghost? What is this story of the ghost? I have to ask them. I made a mental note to speak to Kurat. Seeing Sahithi coming out of the bathroom, my mind went to Sahithi. Isn't she beautiful? Am I lucky to get such a girl in my life? What did I do to deserve her? She wore a nightdress and came and sat beside Reena. I looked at her and asked, "What did I do to deserve you?" She questioned back, "What did I do to deserve you?" I leaned over Reena and kissed Sahithi on the cheeks, then kissed Reena. Sahithi looked at me, asked, "What for?" I said, "For deserving me." She shook her head and said, "We deserve each other. And we deserve them," indicating kids. I was happy she is including them in our family. I pulled both of them with each hand close. I thought, what would Sneha think looking at this scene? Chitty came out of the room. I asked her, "Is the dinner ready?" She said, "It is ready, Anna." I said, "Then serve the dinner." She put the bowls on the table and called us. I said to her, "Look after the kids, I will come after dinner." We had dinner, came and sat on the sofa and told her to go and have her dinner. Mahira. Rakesh said he wants us to be together again. He is ready to leave the drugs. I said, "Let me think." Kurat seemed to have taken offense to his presence. He just had his fag and went away. He seemed angry at me. Let him be. Is he any relation to me? What does he think about me? Sometimes I ask him for help. Don't I have that much intimacy with him? What about Tony? What he would feel about Rakesh? I have not got a chance to introduce Rakesh to him. I have to see his reaction. I will ask Rakesh to come and meet me at the Kandivali office. Tony. I have been watching Mahira for the last 3 months. I could not understand her intentions. She would be close and far away at the same time. How is it possible for that? You only see that in Mahira. Sometimes she is so sweet, and if you try to come closer to her, she would act angry. Like that day at the party. I tried to put my hands around her shoulders. She threw my hands down. I could not see her face in the dim light. If she has no intention, why should she take us there, and why should she sit beside me? Those bars are specially for this kind of act. I could never understand her. Now she brought a guy, Rakesh, and introduced him as her boyfriend. It is her way of saying, "I have a boyfriend and you keep your hands to yourself." Who wants her? She is not that much of a beauty. My sister-in-law is better looking than her. Maria, it is her name. I have had my eyes set on her from the time of my marriage. But she never gave an inch of space for maneuvering. If I could lay my hands on her, I could show what Tony is made up of. It is my roving eyes the problem for my marriage. My wife went away to her parents' place. At least I get a chance to go and see Maria once in a while on the pretext of meeting her. I have applied for a job in Saudi Arabia. If I could get a job there, my life would be fixed. I could work there for 3 or 4 years and can come back. Our marriage anniversary is coming up. How it would be to call the people and give a party. I should arrange a party at our house. I will call Mahira and her friends. Let us see how this goes. Mahira. Tony is calling for his marriage anniversary. One side is telling he is estranged from her. Another side is calling for their marriage anniversary party. As he got a job in Saudi, he wants to get back to her. What is his idea? I could not understand. I will call Kurat and Kumar for the party. I better keep Rakesh away from the party. He is just trying to get away from drugs. I should not tempt him with drinks. He also called the other 2 courier boys from the office. One is a Maharashtrian and another is Rajasthani. Kurat. Mahira called us for Tony's anniversary party. I remember him saying he was married and he was not staying with her. Why is he giving the party for their anniversary? Tony is a funny person. What he does I could not understand. That day he was speaking with the wrong number for hours. I took Kumar with me and we went to Tony's place with Mahira. It seemed like a chawl, but it was on the main road and it is not a small house. Tony introduced his wife, Peggy. She is around 5 feet 3 inches, little, stout and fair. She is working as a nurse in a hospital. I told Mahira he is lucky to get to marry her. Why is he acting like that? She replied, I don't know. He must be having a roving eye. He acts like that only. He flirts with everyone around him. I asked, did he flirt with you? She replied, yes. Every time we are alone he flirts with me. Tony brought 3 glasses of whiskey and gave us. He said snacks are on the table, indicating a table full of eatables. We went, put on the plates some eatables and came and sat outside on chairs placed there. The other 2 courier boys came and wished us and went inside. After 5 minutes those 2 came back with their glasses and plates and sat with us. Tony brought his wife's sister Maria and introduced her to us. We all shook hands with her and said, glad to meet you. I looked her over. She is around 5 feet 5 and stout and not fat and fair. She looked beautiful than her sister. I felt a little twinge in my heart looking at her. There was something in her that made my heart flutter. I have not felt that way about any other girl other than possibly Dolly. Remembering Dolly made me a little sad. I reminiscences about the events with her. How she and her gang have tried to dupe me, and due to intervention at the proper moment by Kumar has saved me and Mahira. I looked at Mahira and said, looking at her, I remembered Dolly. She said, forget about her as a nightmare. Leave the story behind. I said, seeing Maria. She reminded me of Dolly. I seem to have a liking for Maria. Can you get me to meet her again? Mahira said she will speak to her. Tony sent us 5 more glasses of whiskey. Each of us took 1 glass. Tony came and sat with us with a glass in his hand. He sat beside Mahira and whispered something in her ear. Mahira said, don't talk rubbish, and turned her head away. I asked her what happened. She said nothing. It is 12:30 by the time the party finished. 3 of us took an auto, and first I dropped Mahira and second, I got down at my home and Kumar went away to his house. Kumar. I reached home around 1:30 a.m. I opened the door, went inside, changed and lay on the bed. Sahiti stirred in her sleep and said, you have come home. I said yes. She asked, how is the party? I said it is okay. I slept off. I got up around 8 a.m. and Sahiti already got up and bathing the children. I went into the kitchen and fixed myself a coffee. I came out of the kitchen and sat on the sofa. After bathing the children, Sahiti brought them and sat them at my side. I kissed them and held them close. Whenever I hold them, I remember Sneha. I remember the time I spent with Sneha, from the time I saw her from my terrace and our interactions at the clinic and college. Our going and coming together from home and college. Then when I found she was sent away and I had to join a college in Hyderabad instead of Bombay. I waited for her to become a major before eloping with her. I married and waited for completing my studies before coming to Bombay. The major incident is her going away with her cousin, believing lies. Here her grandparents have made a brilliant move when other things have failed. But they could not make her forget me when she became pregnant. When their lies have come in front of her, she forced her cousin to bring her back to Bombay. But the circumstances have changed and she died in an accident. How could she do such a thing? Sahithi came and sat beside and switched on TV. She asked, "What are you doing sitting here?" I said, "Nothing. Just thinking about kids. They are without their mother." Sahithi said, "What are you talking about? I am their mother, don't forget that. I look at them like my own kids. I don't feel they are Sneha's children. They are my own." She caught hold of Atul and pulled him to her. I looked into her eyes. There is honesty in her eyes. She was not bluffing when she said they are my kids. She with her whole heart believes they are her children only. I heaved a sigh of relief. I don't have to worry about them. She would look after them under any circumstances. I pulled her close and hugged her. The distance between us created by Sneha's return started to close down. She called Chitty and said to look after the kids and took me inside the bedroom. Current. Mahira called me to her Kandivali branch on Tuesday around 11 a.m. I said I will be there. I went there by 10:30 a.m. She sat me at the counter. I asked, "Where is Tony?" She said he went for a pickup. I asked, "What's the matter?" She said Maria said she will come here by 11 a.m. I said, "Oh, is she coming to meet me?" She said yes, she wants to meet you. At 11 she took me to the bar and restaurant near the station where she gave us the party. She told me to go in wait for them. After possibly 10 minutes they both came in and Mahira sat opposite me and Maria sat beside me. I turned to Maria and said hello. She said, "Hello, you wanted to speak to me." I said, "That day at Tony's house I saw you and felt something in my heart and I want to speak to you from that time." Maria said, "Then speak to me." I said, "When you ask like that I don't know what to speak." She kissed me on the cheek and said, "Now tell me what you want to tell me." I became speechless by her action. I sat there like a motionless rock. She put her hand on my shoulder and shook me. I came out of the trance and turned towards her and kissed her on the cheek and said, "I love you." She said, "Give me some time. Let Tony go to Saudi and then we will talk." I asked, "Is Tony going to Saudi?" Mahira said the date is fixed for after 15 days. I asked, "Do you fear Tony?" Maria said, "It is not fear. I don't want him to interfere in my life. However, he is going away in 15 days, so I think I will take any decision after he goes away." We ordered lunch and waited for the food to arrive. I asked Mahira, "How is the work going? Did you get any new customers?" She replied, "We are getting new customers. We are getting calls for collecting packages from the customers we visited. Yesterday only we received a call from a customer saying he wants to send Ayurvedic medicines abroad. How much they could be, 1 or 2 kilos. She said not 1 of 2 kilos. It is 400 kilos. I asked 400 kilos. Yes, she said. I asked how much billing could be. She replied it would be based on the area they are sending. At conservative estimates it could be around 2 lakhs rupees. Is it a good billing? I asked. She replied it is for a single overseas consignment. My hard work is paying off. The waiter brought the food and put it on the table. I asked what is what. He explained each item. We could not see what is in front of us. So, we asked the waiter to serve us on the plate. With difficulty, we peeled our eyes and eat what is on our plates. We finished our lunch and got up, paid the bill and came out. First Maria went over to the station to catch a train. We came after 5 minutes and went to the office. We went and sat at the counter. I asked Mahira, does that meant Maria agreed to my proposal? Mahira said it seems so. She is only asking for some time until Tony goes to Saudi. She does not want Tony to know about her relationships. I said it seems so. Let us meet after Tony goes to Saudi. I came out of the office and took my bike and reached our factory. I went in and told Kumar the details of my meeting with Mahira and Maria. He listened attentively and said, "What is the final outcome?" I said she is asking for 15 days time until Tony goes to Saudi. Why wait? He asked. I said I think there are some problems between them. She is fearing him and could not say it openly. He thought for a minute and said, "When I saw him I felt there is something wrong with him. He is not the kind of guy he shows himself to be. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing." I said that is the correct word for him. Let us wait for Tony to go to Saudi. Kumar. Who is this Tony and what is his story? Why does Kurat brings up him in his conversations? Now Kurat is interested in Maria. He had bad experiences with Dolly. Did he need to get into trouble with another girl? I have to check out this girl. Otherwise what problem I may have to get him out of. I mentally noted to meet her and see what she is made of. When he went to check the shop floor I rang Mahira and asked her who is this Maria. She said she is Tony's sister-in-law, Tony's wife Peggy's sister. I said I want to meet her once. She asked why are you interested in Maria? I am concerned about Kurat. After the incident with Dolly I want to thoroughly know his interests. I can't go through another Nasik. I was lucky that time. I could gather some information and you have helped us at the last minute. She said okay I will arrange for you to meet her but it would be better to wait for Tony to go to Saudi. She was concerned about Tony interfering in her affairs. I said then it is better I get to meet her before that. I said to Mahira and asked her to call Maria and come and meet me at daughter station. That would be ideal for both of us and there would be no chance of Tony finding out about our meeting. She called Maria and said she is ready to meet me at the time and place specified. I went to daughter and waited at the place specified. She came after 15 minutes. I asked her directly what is her problem with Tony. She told me he tried to rape her and knowing that her sister had gone away to their parents' place. That is the reason for their quarrels. At the anniversary party, she was reluctant to attend, and knowing that he will go to Saudi her parents had asked to attend the party. That is the reason for also attending the party reluctantly. I asked what action you want to take. She replied at present she doesn't want to take any action as he will go away to Saudi and they will rid of him for at least 3 or 4 years. After he leaves India we want to file divorce proceedings. He could not attend and the case will be decided in his absence. I said the best way to deal with is that to file the case in court and let him sign the petition. He will not further attend the proceedings and it will be decided in your favor. At least let him know your sister is filing for divorce. This way he can't deny not knowing later and get the proceedings cancelled. She said she will advise her sister about this. I said if you want to raise a complaint against Tony I will help you on that matter. She said I don't want any trouble from him again. If his travel plans get cancelled he will keep it in his mind and try to take revenge. It is better to let him go away. By the time he returns we can decide what to do. I said if it is your final decision I will abide by it. Please let me know if you face any problem at any time and I wrote my office and home telephone numbers and gave it to her. Go home and don't worry about him, we will make sure he goes away to Saudi without troubling you or your family. I put her on the local train and caught myself a train and reached the station. From the parking, I picked up my scooter and reached factory. Kurat sitting at his table and checking something. Seeing me coming in he asked where you disappeared. I said I went to meet Maria. He asked surprised Maria, why? I thought she was in some sort of trouble with Tony and I got Mahira to arrange a meeting and went and met her. Kurat asked what did she say? Tony tried to rape her once and her sister intervened and she went away to stay at her parents' place. Maria was scared of Tony and did not take any action. I asked her to take some action and she said however he was going away to Saudi they will file for divorce and they will try to get rid of him. Kurat said okay. Did you ask her about me? I said I did not speak to her about you. I advised them to file for the divorce before he goes away at the last minute so he will not have any chance of refusing to sign. This way they can corner him signing the divorce. Kurat said so finally they will rid of him. I said yes. Good riddance. I gave her my numbers to call on any matter. I got a call from Maria at home. I looked at the time, it is around 8 p.m. I asked is there any problem? She said her sister went to Tony's house with the divorce papers for him to sign. He seemed drunk and was making a scene. I said we are coming now. I called Kurat and said to him to rush to Tony's house and I am on my way. I took the scooter and rushed to Tony's place. By the time I reached Kurat was already there. We went in and cooled Tony and explained to him don't be a fool and if you make a ruckus you will lose the opportunity to go to Saudi tomorrow. If you lose this opportunity you can never go again. Think about your future. Sign the divorce papers peacefully. You can go tomorrow else if you decline to sign these papers they will lodge a police complaint and you can't catch the flight tomorrow. If you sign them then the court will wait for you to appear and then only they can decide about the divorce. So, until you return they can't decide on the divorce. You will be a winner in both counts. At last, after persuading he agreed to sign the papers. He signed the papers and handed them over to Peggy and they went away. Tony asked us to join the party as a farewell party. We each had a peg and went away. Current. We all went to give farewell to Tony only to confirm he is really taking the flight. When the flight took off we came out, took a breather. I congratulated Maria and said, you have got rid of Tony, are you happy now? She said, I am happy. I asked her, what did you think of my proposal? She said, give me some time. I have to think it over. I will call you when I'm ready, and went away. I looked at Kumar. He said to give her time as she asked. We went to the factory and sat on our chairs. I asked, will she ever answer my question? He said, I doubt she will reply to you in near future. I said I also felt the same. He said, give her some time, if she had any feelings for you she will return to you, else in due course you try to forget her. I went into overdrive thinking about what to do. Chapter 2. The year 1990. Kumar. It is Atul and Reena's third birthday. We celebrated at our house and invited both our families and some friends. Kurat asked to call Maria also. He did not get any answer from her till now. We got a cake for both of them and arranged for snacks for the friends and dinner for family members. After Sneha's accident, Sahiti informed her parents about the kids and she informed them that they became motherless and she is looking after them. She convinced them to accept them as her children. So, they have come to see them and attend the party. I have arranged for my friend's party on the terrace. I told them after the cake cutting they can go and have the drinks party on the terrace. Sahiti prepared the children with the help of Chitty and sat them on 2 chairs before the cake table. After blowing candles she caught both of their hands and cut the cake. She fed them small pieces and told Chitty to cut the cake and give the guests. Some of the guests who wanted to have drinks have gone to the terrace. Some guests had snacks and left. Some waited for the dinner to be arranged. My mother spoke to Sahiti's mother and explained the circumstances under which the kids were rendered motherless. They showed sympathy and extolled the virtue of Sahiti to look after them. My mother agreed with them and said she looks after them like her own. They sat down and chatted and started getting close. My mother spoke in Hindi and her mother is speaking in Marathi. They both can understand each other. It is a sight to watch them talking with each other. I went to the terrace to see how the party is going on. My father and Sahiti's father had 1 glass each and chatting with each other. My brother sat on a chair chatting with someone. On one side Kurat and Mahira were chatting. I went and asked Mahira. Maria did not come. She replied no. I called her but she said she was out of the station. It seems to be some kind of excuse. Kurat said, I also feel the same. I said it is better forgetting her for some time. Don't try to approach her and send any kind of messages to her. Mahira said Kumar is correct. For the time being, forget her. I asked Mahira, where is your boyfriend? She said I don't call him to parties. I said, oh, I remember. I went to my father and father-in-law and asked them did they need anything. They said they are comfortable with their drinks. I went to Sahiti's brother-in-law and asked how is he doing. He said he is fine. I asked him, did you meet my brother? He said yes. I looked at my brother. He was facing us and he is speaking with a lady whose head I can see. Seeing me he called me to come. I went to him and looked at him. He said meet Sunitha. She is friends with our cousin Sunaina from Madras. I turned and looked at her, she is very beautiful. I said to her, glad to meet you. Are you from Madras? She said I am from Bombay only. We are basically from Madras. I asked, are you working? She said I am working as an air hostess. I said I thought so. You could only be an air hostess. There is something in you that says you could be an air hostess. She asked, is it so? I said to Sunitha, come and meet our father. He is standing there. 3 of us and went to where father and father-in-law were standing. I said, Daddy, meet Sunitha. She is friends with Sunaina. He asked her, oh, you are friends with Sunaina. How do you know her? She said in Madras. She was our neighbor to our sister. After marriage, my sister shifted to Madras with her husband. He asked, so your sister stays at Saidabad? They have recently constructed a house there and we went to their housewarming ceremony. When I met her last time I was in Madras. Knowing I am from Bombay, she gave me your details and told me to meet you. When I called your house, your brother told me that we are going to a birthday party and told me to come and meet us here. I let them chat and went down to the flat. Sahithi is making arrangements for dinner. Some guests have left after having snacks and dinner guests are only left. I arranged the dishes on the dining table. I called my mother-in-law and some guests to the dinner table to have dinner. I went and sat with the sleeping kids. Chitty is helping Sahithi with the serving for dinner. My thoughts went to Sunitha. I felt I have seen her somewhere. Must have seen her when we went to give a send-off to Tony. Because of her uniform, I might not have recognized her at the party. Kurat and Mahira came down searching for me. They brought a bottle with them. Kurat poured us drinks, gave me one. Mahira asked me, what are you doing alone here? I said, just looking after the kids. They both are busy serving dinner. We sat and chatting, completed the bottle they brought. I said, let us go and have dinner. We went into the dining room. Almost all the guests here have finished their dinner. Those at the terrace party are yet to have dinner. I asked Sahithi, have our dads had their dinner? She replied, no, they said they will come down in half an hour. I said, please serve us. We sat down and had our dinner. After finishing I said I will go to the terrace and send our dads down for dinner. She said, okay, do that. I went to the terrace and told dad and father-in-law to go have dinner. Then I went to my brother and Sunitha told them to go and have dinner. She smiled and said going, and said to my brother, come for dinner. Seeing her smile, I thought what a dazzling smile she had. I kept my eyes on her till she went down. I turned to Kurat and said, she is friends with my cousin. He said, what a pretty girl. I said, she is an air hostess. Mahira said, is it so? My sister might know her. My sister is working as an on-ground staff. After their dinner, I will speak to her. Kurat brought out a packet of fags. I said, we will go behind the water tank. We three of us went behind the water tank and lit the fags, started smoking. After finishing the fags, we came and sat on the chairs placed around. Sunitha and my brother came up to the terrace. I asked them, did you have your dinner? Sunitha replied, we had. Mahira called Sunitha, come and sit here. She came and sat beside Mahira on a chair. My sister Farida works on the ground staff. Did you meet her? Sunitha said. Farida thought a moment and said, tall little fat girl works at the counter. Mahira said, yes. Sunitha said, I know her, she helped me when I joined. I let them talk and went down. Father said, we finished our dinner, we will go home. I said, stay over the night, why go at this hour? You can sleep in our room or in the children room and father-in-law and mother-in-law can sleep in the other room. They said okay. I arranged extra sleeping arrangements, went to the terrace. I asked Kurat, why don't you stay the night? I will arrange something in the hall. I will arrange the sleeping for you all and call you. I went down, arranged whatever available bedsheets or mattresses and went to the terrace and called them. Kurat, Mahira, Sunitha and my brother all came down and sat around and started chatting, telling each other's stories. Mahira asked my brother, why aren't you married till now? He said my brother had a problem and he eloped and married. I have not found the girl I like. I might find someone I like. Looking at Sunitha. I thought he had set his eyes on Sunitha. She is a very beautiful girl, working as an air hostess and must be earning a good income. If she agrees, they make a good pair. Mahira must have caught the hidden meaning in his words. She looked at Sunitha and asked, what kind of guy do you want to marry? She said, I did not think about marriage. I will go with whom my family chooses. I thought she is indicating that she did not have a boyfriend. If she goes by whoever her family chooses means, she is indicating to approach their family. Did Sunaina send her to our family to fix their alliance? My brother had an electronics business and I don't know what he earns. Must be substantial. I waited for someone to ask what my brother does. No one raised the point and the discussion went on to some other point. Sahithi came and sat there finishing her kitchen work. She asked what is going on. I have introduced Sunitha as our cousin's friend who works as an air hostess. She said hello to Sunitha. You seemed familiar. I have seen you somewhere. Where do you stay? Sunitha said in Derry West. Sahithi thought for a minute and said, there is no way I would have seen you there. Which college did you go to? Sunitha said Mithabai. Sahithi said I have not been there. Where could I have seen you there? I have not flown any time. In the meantime, Atul must have woken up in his sleep and come out of the room crying. Sahithi picked him up and tried to put him to sleep. Sunitha asked whose child is he? Sunitha said Kumar's. Sunitha looked surprised. Why are you saying Kumar's? You could have said ours. Sahithi said he is really Kumar's son. He was born to his first wife. Sunitha seemed surprised. Are you his second wife? Sahithi replied yes. Sunitha asked what happened to his first wife. Sahithi said she died in a fire accident. Sunitha said sorry. In a fire accident. I said she was working with Kurat and Mahira in our hotel at Bombay Central. One night she caught fire and did not survive. Sunitha asked how did she catch fire. Kurat interjected and said we really don't know, but other workers said it might be a ghost and were afraid to work in the nights after that. I asked what ghost are you talking about? Mahira said there was some talk about ghosts from the workers who were sleeping in the other staff quarters. Someone saw a ghost run away from the kitchen at the time of the fire accident. I said you are telling me all this now. Mahira said we thought it was all rumors. I asked who said they saw the ghost. Kurat replied it was Ramu Kaka and his wife. I asked where are they now. Mahira replied after we sold off the hotel, we gave them some money and they went back to their village. I thought I could have interviewed them if I had known about the ghost at that time, now it is not possible. Did you tell the police about this ghost? I asked. It was not known then, replied Kurat. He told us later when he declined to work in the nights. That is the reason we had to close down the restaurant at nights. That is the reason we sold off the hotel when we got a good offer. I thought what is this story of ghosts coming out now? Is it really a ghost or someone else? If it is not a ghost, is it her enemies? Who could do such a thing? I have only questions and no answers. Sunitha was looking at me with a concerned look on her face. I caught her eyes. She with her eyes said calm down. It has a magical effect on me. My boiling rage cooled down. I caught my head and looked at Sahithi. Her face was chalk white. I asked her what happened. She said a few days before the accident someone came to our house and rang the bell and asked about Sneha. I thought he was one of her patients who might be looking for a medical certificate, told him that she not living here anymore. He asked where she is living. I said at a hotel in Bombay Central. I did not think at the time he would do such a thing. I asked do you think he did harm her? Sahithi replied I don't know, I don't think so. But after hearing about the ghost now I am thinking he could be the ghost. But why would he do such a thing, I asked. She said he might be someone from her family. I said I don't think they would stoop to such a low level to kill her. Sahithi said I myself don't know, it just occurred to me after hearing about ghosts. Now the chatting has taken a serious turn. Everyone tried to give their opinions about the incident. Someone said there are no ghosts. Someone said it is a murder committed by an unknown person. Someone said there could be a conspiracy behind it. I am not hearing any of that. My mind is trying to unravel the incident. If it is her enemies, it could only mean it was someone from her family only. Is it the reason she was in the kitchen at that late hour? Is she trying to feed her assailant? If she trying to feed him means he must be known to her very well. Did he come there as a passenger from a rail or bus stand? Did he book a room and surprise her? Even if he has taken a room, the records must have been destroyed. There is no way to find who it could be. I have to find out who it is. I have to find a way. I should take revenge on who did this to my Sneha. At this minute I have resolved to find her killers and take revenge on them. Kurat. At last, the matter of the ghost and Sneha's accident came out in the open and came to Kumar's knowledge. Now he feels it is the act of his in-laws. He is hell-bent on taking revenge on them. He is correct in his thought process. No one else can do anything in this matter. Even if we go to the police, they would not act on this matter as they close the case as accidental death. We all accepted this and took a pledge to help him take his revenge in whatever way he wants to take it. Mahira. We have taken a pledge to help Kumar find his wife's killers and punish them. It might take time, but we have resolved to do right by Kumar. I have doubts about her accident from the time of that incident. Is it someone trying to sabotage our business? It could be the hotel people who have brought the hotel from us. Is it them who created the story of the ghost? We have to think in this line also. I was told the land behind our hotel was brought by someone 6 months prior to the accident. Did they create the accident? They would have tried to buy the hotel from us. No one has approached us for buying the hotel. If it is not them, only another possibility is his in-laws. He told us how they have sent Gundas to beat him up and he was rescued by the house owners, otherwise, he would be no more. The second time they have taken her away at his sister's marriage. How they told her lies to keep her at her grandparents' place. It was only when she learned the truth, she forced her cousin to bring her to Bombay. Is it their third attempt? But why the fire accident? Did they think they can get away by doing it? Or did they lose all hope of getting her back if it's what they want? Are they so cruel to do such a thing? Or is it someone else who is jealous of her relationship with Kumar? Is it her grandparents or someone else behind this whole charade? Kumar. It is 8 a.m. I prepared coffee and woke one by one and gave them coffee. Kurat and Mahira said they want to discuss something about Sneha's accident. I said let everyone go away, we will go and discuss at the factory. I called a cab and sent my family. Sahiti's parents caught an auto and went away. Kurat took Mahira and went to the factory. I took Sahiti to her office and went to the factory. We sat down on our chairs. Mahira sat before me on a chair. Mahira said let us discuss the accident. First, let us finalize it is a fire accident or is it murder if it is lit purposefully. The three of us concurred it is murder as we feel it is not an accident. Mahira said let us see who has an interest in her death. Her grandparents are angry with her and they want to humiliate you in this regard. By taking you away from you they took revenge on you for eloping with her. Second, the owners of the hotel we sold to. It is my understanding they could have brought the land behind us and want to develop the hotel in place of our hotel. Third, it could be the landowner whose land was behind our hotel. To sell their land they could have done this to free our hotel for sale. Next, it could be the person who want to marry Sneha before you eloped with her. He must have been humiliated in his village when the girl he wanted to marry was snatched from him. They could have planned to kidnap her at your sister's marriage. Instead of she went with them willingly believing their lies. But when they found out she was pregnant and declined to abort he did not have any other option than to forget her. It seems he is the one who planned this whole thing about following you and Sneha and collected all the information about you. I heard her attentively. She has analyzed the situation very well. We have 4 targets in front of us to check. If it is the hotel owners they could have approached us at least one time before taking any drastic action like that. They have not approached us, so we have to check with Kista Rao if he had any offers before we received the offer. We don't know anything about the original owner of the land behind our hotel. We never came across him. We did not have any interaction with him. Thirdly, Sneha's grandparents. I think no parent would like to see their children suffer in such a way. They rather would think I should suffer. The reason her parents left her at her grandparents' village is to marry her off to someone from her relatives. I suspect it is his whole planning. He might be the kind of person who thinks if he could not get her no one else should get her. We have to concentrate on him. First, we have to inform her parents about her untimely death. We never informed her thinking they were not interested in her well-being. If they had any hand in her death, they would know and would not make a fuss about her death. Else they would accuse us of having her killed her or something like that. I told Kurat and Mahira the same and they concurred with me. We should inform them and see their reaction. We booked a call to Kista Rao and waited for the call to connect. I called Srinu at Vijayawada and told his brother to pass on a message to him. He said he will be available after 7 p.m. only. I said I will call at that time and cradled the receiver. After some time, the call to Kista Rao came and we inquired if he had received any other offer before we offered to sell the hotel. He said if anyone offered to purchase it he would have taken the offer irrespective of our relationship. We were angry with his words but we let it ride. So, no one tried to purchase the hotel. So, it couldn't have been the hotel owners or the landowner. We decided to wait until we know of the reaction from her parents. Kurat went to drop Mahira at her place and came back. We immersed ourselves in our work. Mahira. Kurat taking me to drop me at home. I thought about the conversation with Kurat and Kumar. Kumar gave value to my thoughts and decided to take action on them. He must be treating me as one of them. Something should come out of this enquiry. Kumar's attitude towards me has changed from the time he met me after coming back from Nasik. Earlier he was not having confidence in me, he was thinking I came to them with the intent to cheat them. When he found that I was on their side he has changed his opinion of me. Now we have to wait for his friend to come back. I asked him if there was anyone with whom he can send the message. He said his uncle would do. He called his uncle at his shop and spoke to him to send someone to inform Sneha's parents of her accident. He said he will send one of his clerks working in his shop. He said to see their reaction to the news and inform us. We will call them after 1 hour. We waited and after 1 hour called his uncle and he said that they were heartbroken and were cursing you for marrying her. Now it is confirmed her parents were not aware of her death. We have to find out about her grandparents. Now, how to find about their involvement in the accident. We have brainstormed and the only way to know about them is to wait and see. It depends on her parents informing her grandparents. The next action is to find out about the groom her grandparents fixed for her in the village. Kumar said Sneha's cousin could come in use for finding his details. We know his name and had one of his photos. We have to send someone to him to get the details. Who we can send is the question. Kumar can't go. He would be lynched if he enters their village. It has to be someone with authority. Let him think about who to send. Kurat. Some clarification has come in the matter of Sneha's accident. We have to think about what to do next. I can't go there as I don't know their language. We have to find someone to send there. I am ready to give Kumar whatever support he needs as his wife died in our care. From the time of her death I have a guilty conscience that we could not save her. Really, what happened to her? Her death is an accident or murder. Sunitha. Everyone left the house and went on their work. I have a day off today. I am left with Chitty, who is looking after the kids. Seeing them I could not leave them and go home. So, I stayed back to give company to Chitty. I helped her in bathing the kids and readying them. I felt a satisfaction doing that which I never felt even in my job as an air hostess. Until now I don't know that raising kids could be this satisfying. I seem to be more connected to Reena than Atul. But seeing them I feel like they are my own children. This must be what Sahiti must be feeling. She knew they are not her own kids. Still, she treats them like her own. After feeding I put them to sleep and slept beside Reena. When I woke up it is 1 p.m. I got up and freshened up and sat at their bed. Chitty came and called me for lunch. She served for me. I said come you also eat. She said she will eat later. I insisted she eats with me. Her cooking is excellent. She is from Andhra and I liked her cooking. I said to her if I marry, I will take her with me to my in-laws' place. She shyly asked why. I said you are an excellent cook. I don't know who will cook in my in-laws' place. She said Kumar's mother is also an excellent cook. I thought for a minute about what she is implying. Then it struck me that she is talking about Ram, Kumar's brother. She must have thought I am interested in him, as he was following me full-time at the party. But do I like him? I don't feel a real connection to him. After spending a whole day, I couldn't understand him. I understand Kumar and his struggles. I feel a connection to him. But he was already married twice. I was told he was married to Sahiti when he was married to Sneha because she left him and went away. Still, I feel a connection to him. I understand him, his thoughts, his actions. When he was getting hyper when he thought Sneha's death was not an accident but murder, my one-eye contract has calmed him down, as if he understands my look to calm down. What is this? I felt like I know him my whole life. This is the first time I met him and how is that possible? I felt like I should help him in resolving this issue he is facing. But how can I help him? He would not take my help. I asked Chitty does she know their factory number. She showed the number noted on the dairy. He had noted all the emergency numbers for her to call. There were numbers for Kurat, Mahira, Kumar's dad, his dad's office number, etc. Why there is no number for his brother? I called Kumar's factory number and Kurat took the call. I asked him, can I speak with Kumar? He asked who is calling. I said Sunitha calling from his home. He asked, are you at his house? Is there any problem? I said no problem. I stayed over because I have a free day I want to spend with the kids. He said, is that so? Here, speak with him, and gave the receiver to Kumar. Kumar said hello. I said, Sunitha here. I called to say if you need any help with your matter, I am ready to help in any way. He said thanks, I will let you know. Bye, and cradled the receiver. I put down the receiver and thought, would he take my help? I have to impress him to take my help. I will stay overnight and speak with him personally. Went over and sat with the kids. Kumar. After consultation with Kurat and Mahira, I came to the conclusion that someone has to go to Sneha's grandparents' place to inquire about the details of the persons involved in Sneha's murder. I picked up Sahithi and reached home. When Sunitha called, she said she is at our house. What she is doing there? In our hurry to go to the factory, we have not thought of Sunitha. We thought she would find her transportation. She must be feeling bored at her house. She must be missing her sister, who went over to Madras after marriage. Seeing all of us, she felt she is missing her. We reached our flat and I opened the door and entered the hall. Sunitha came from the children's room. She must be spending time with the kids. She must like kids very much. I said hi. She said sorry I stayed over. I said don't worry, we will not punish you for this. She said I liked your kids very much. As I have a free day, I thought I would spend some time with the kids. I said it's okay. No need to give explanations. Do you want to have tea? We always have tea when we reach home. She said yes. I called Chitty to make 3 cups of tea. Chitty went to the kitchen to make tea. I went to the bathroom and freshened up and changed and came and sat on the sofa. Sahithi freshened and sat beside me. Sunitha sat on the side sofa. Chitty brought tea and placed it on the table. We took a cup each and started sipping. I finished the tea and put down the cup and looked at Sunitha. She looked beautiful. In front of her, Sahithi looked pale in comparison. I asked Sunitha, how are you feeling? She replied, I am fine. I wanted to tell you. I wanted to help you in your quest for answers. I heard what you all discussed yesterday night. I understood the problem you are trying to address. I waited to see how I can help you in this matter. Please tell me what conclusion you have reached on this matter. I said we have verified some facts of the case and we have concluded that it was not the owner of the land behind our hotel or who have purchased our land. Next, we verified with Sneha's parents' reaction. It seems they are not aware of her death. They have taken her death very badly and were cursing me. So that leaves her grandparents or the person with who they have fixed her marriage. To find who is responsible, we have to send someone to their village and find the details. Sunitha asked who you are thinking of sending there. I said that's what we are discussing. We did not find anyone to send. Sunitha said that's why I called to offer my help. Give me full details of the situation. I explained to her the full details of our story. She listened and sat thinking. Sunitha. I listened to Kumar and Sneha's love story and how she died in an accident. I try to analyze what is the behind story in all this. Sneha is from a factionist family, but why they are vegetarians? Why it has become a problem point in accepting Kumar for them. So, to separate them, they sent Sneha to her grandparents' village. So, instead of forgetting her, what does Kumar do? He went and brought her to Hyderabad and married her. When they tried to attack Kumar, his house owners had saved them. Then after completing his degree, he came over to Bombay. What did they do? They appointed a private detective to dig into Kumar's life. At Kumar's sister's marriage, they sent her cousin and by telling lies they took her to her grandparents' place. Where it was found she was pregnant and they forced her to get an abortion, which she refused. It must have put a dent in their plans to marry her to their choice of man. They must have left her alone after that. When she gave birth to the twins, she went to her parents' place. She came to know of their lies and with the help of her cousin came back to Bombay. Now here they were living happily until both the wives had a fight, and to keep them divided he sent her to help in the hotel. Kumar thought with one stone he hit 2 birds. But what happened is she died in a fire accident. They have to find if it is an accident or murder. They eliminated 2 of the suspects. Another 2 are her grandparents and the person with who they fixed her marriage. Another thought struck my mind. Is there someone else whom we are not aware of? Did she pick a fight with someone during her stay at the hotel? A tenant or a worker who might have some enmity with? I asked Kumar did she had a fight with anyone at the hotel. Kumar said he is not aware of any fight. I thought we can't eliminate this possibility. First, let us eliminate her grandparents. I asked Kumar how can we check her grandparents' involvement. Kumar said one way is to catch hold of her cousin. He is the one who took her from my sister's marriage and he is the one who brought her back to Bombay. There is no one else who knows about her better than him. I said give me some time, I will come up with a plan. They seem to have no clue as to what to do. They have agreed to my proposal. Kumar said you take your own sweet time and come up with something. Sahithi got up and went to the kitchen to prepare dinner. Kumar switched on the TV and we started watching the program. Kumar. After brainstorming with Sunitha, she has come up with some ideas. She said she will come with an idea and asked for time. Sahithi came and announced dinner. I said to Sunitha come let us have dinner. After finishing dinner Sunitha asked Sahithi did you prepare the dinner? Sahithi replied yes. How did you know? There is a taste difference between lunch and dinner. Lunch prepared by Chitty tasted South Indian. Dinner tasted different, so I thought you prepared dinner. Sahithi said I prepare dinner and Chitty helps me. I went into the corridor for a fag. Sunitha looked out and went inside. We all sat down in front of the TV. I asked Sunitha what do you think of my brother? You both were together the whole time. Sunitha said I could not form any type of opinion about him. I could not seem to connect to him as I have connected with you. I could not put my finger on it. He seemed distant in his attitude like he wants to keep me away. I think he might be in love with someone. Maybe she is not reciprocating his advances or has rejected him. I don't know much about him. We were not that close I said. Sunitha said that I deduced from the phone book. I asked how. She said your phone book did not have a number for your brother. There would not be a number for him as he stays with my parents. If I had to speak to him, I had to call our house number only. She said why did I not think about that? I said sometimes we miss obvious. At that moment I thought I had missed something obvious. I could not place what I am missing, but it started to burrow into my mind. Sunitha. My mind is set on solving the mystery. I cannot let go of any mystery. I am an avid reader. Especially mystery novels. When a mystery is in front of me, how can I let go of it? I got up and dialed our office and asked to give leave for a week as I have sprained my ankle and could not walk and the doctor advised a week's rest. They said they will pass on the message. I came back and sat on the sofa and said now I have to get a doctor's certificate. Kumar said don't worry I can get you one now. He went and from the cupboard took out a pad and wrote and signed and stamped and gave me a certificate. I asked how did you do it? Kumar said Sneha is an RMP doctor and she used to give medical certificates. But how could you give her certificates? I said I also used to work in a clinic. I taught everything and she got registered but I have not. Don't worry about that all. What is your plan? I said I am thinking of taking someone with me to their village and finding out about their history. He asked whom you will take with you. I said I think I will take your brother with me. We will spend some time together and we might connect. He said that is a good idea. Did you speak to him? I said that idea just struck me let me ask him. Where he would be. He said I think he would be at home. I said let me call and check. I got up and looked at the phone book and called his dad's number. His dad lifted the phone and said hello. I recognized his voice and said uncle, I am Sunitha. He said yes, tell me. I said is Ram there? He said he has not come home yet. I said when can you expect him? He said I am not sure. He comes home late. I said to tell him I called for him and call at Kumar's house when he comes. He asked are you still at Kumar's house? I said yes uncle, I will be here for some time. Please tell him to call me. It is something urgent. He said okay I will tell him if I see him coming or I will tell him in the morning. I said okay do that uncle. Bye and cradled the receiver. I told Kumar he is not home. We have to wait for him to call. Sahithi. I thought Sunitha is interested in Kumar's brother, but here she is getting closer to Kumar. Am I jealous of her speaking to him? They are only planning to find out what happened to Sneha. Let him have that satisfaction. At least he is not blaming me for her death. Until he does not know the truth, I am safe. Sunitha, you sleep in the kids' room for tonight. We will speak tomorrow morning. She went to the kids' room. We went to our room. I asked Kumar what is happening. He said we were planning to find what happened to Sneha. I thought let him do anything. What will he find? To support him, this Sunitha wants to help him find the truth. Chapter 3, Sunitha. I got up and brushed and came to the hall. Kumar gave me a cup of coffee. I asked him did his brother called him. He said no. I called his house number. His mother lifted the phone, and when I asked to speak to Ram, she said he is still sleeping. I asked her to wake him and I want to speak to him. She went to wake him. Ram came to the phone and sleepily said hello. I said I am Sunitha speaking. He said tell me. I have some work with you. Can you meet me at Kumar's house? He asked what time. I said any time, I will be here. He said okay, I will be there by 10 a.m. I cradled the receiver and came and sat on the sofa. I said to Kumar he will be here by 10 a.m. He said okay, you plan your idea and let me know. I have to go to the factory and Sahithi has to go to the office. We will see you in the evening. I have taken a dress from Sahithi and went and had a bath and readied myself. Ram came around 9:45 a.m. I explained to him the situation and asked him will he help me. He asked what he needs to do. I explained to him we need to go to Sneha's village and get information relevant to her death. He said he will help me out. Let us plan this thing. I said we will go to Vijayawada first. There is Srinu, Kumar's friend, who had full information about her village and her grandparents. Then we will go to the nearest city to the village and set up our station. From there we will plan the action. Ram said let us do that. Ram went away saying he had some work nearby and he will come later. I went and looked at the kids. They were bathed and fed and were sleeping soundly. I sat down beside Reena stroking her hand. I thought, what is my relationship with them? Why am I pining for them? What is the connection which pulls me to them? Is that the reason I could not go to my house? Is it them for my decision to help Kumar? Is it because I want to stay close to them? I know they are not my children. But they are not Sahithi's either. She is only a caretaker. She did not give birth to them either. Did she feel about the kids as I feel for them? I don't think anyone else can feel the love and affection towards the children as I feel, maybe except for their mother. What does that make me? I never thought about kids this way. I thought kids would come in my way of career. I thought I would think about kids after retiring from the air hostess job. Now I want to have kids. What is this magic? Do kids have this kind of pull? Why I am going berserk. I can't control my mind. I need to keep near the children. If I go with Ram to Sneha's village, how would I feel about leaving the kids here? What should I do? How to control these feelings? Is there something wrong with me? I am not married yet. I am thinking of children. I laid beside Reena and went to slumber. Chitty woke me up to have lunch. I looked at the watch, it is showing 12:55. I said, is it already 1? What did you prepare for lunch? Chitty said sambar and bendi fry. I said let us go, I am starving. Having completed lunch, I sat down on the sofa, switched on the TV. I watched TV for some time and then the doorbell rang. I went and opened the door, Ram standing outside. I said come in, did you have lunch? He said I had. He came and sat on the sofa. How shall we go to Vijayawada? He said we will catch the train to Vijayawada. I have booked tickets for us after 2 days. From there we will see. I said we'll call Kumar and inform him. I called Kumar, informed him about the course of action decided by us and told him about the tickets booked. He said okay, I will speak with you after coming home. Kumar. After reaching home I gave Sunitha all the details for Srinu, his address, phone no. Sneha's grandparents' address and their closest station, which is Tenali. Sunitha said she will go home and prepare for the travel. She told Ram about her travel plans. Ram said he will drop her at her home and go home. After 3 days Sunitha called. She said we went to Srinu and he is now working as a station master at Tenali. I said good for him. She told me they went to Tenali and met Srinu there. He said Sneha's cousin Suresh daily comes and catches a train here. What time is the train? I asked him. Srinu said around 11 am. We waited for him and caught him as he was about to catch the train. We stopped him and told him about Sneha's death due to a fire accident. He was heartbroken and wept uncontrollably. He was not aware of her death. He categorically said her grandparents have no hand in her death. We asked him about the person they fixed her marriage with. He said he does not have that kind of attitude and he is already married and has one son. He is not likely to take any kind of revenge on Sneha. The only thing he likes is her, and he would not hurt a fly. I heard them out and said you may better come back to Bombay. It seems they don't have any hand in the accident. Now I am in a quandary. If all of our suspects are cleared, who could do such a thing? Now we have to search for new suspects or declare it as a work of a ghost. Let us wait for Sunitha to come back. We will have a meeting and discuss future plans. After 2 days they came back to Bombay and my brother dropped her at our house and went away. I went down, brought her bags with me. I asked her how is the trip. She replied it is good, but even though we were together for a whole week I could not connect with your brother. His attitude is preventing me from getting closer to him. I think my deduction that his heart was broken by some girl must be true. He was so distant I could not reach him with my closeness. I think I will let him go his way. I was disappointed that she will not be part of our family. I always thought of her as our family. I thought nothing is in my hands and let her make her own decisions. I called Kurat and Mahira to our house for further consultations. They arrived in 1 hour. Kurat picked her up from her home and came to my house. We sat around and I told them what Sunitha told me. They asked her for the details of the talk with Sneha's cousin. She told them the whole story again. I said all of our suspects are cleared now. What should we do? Close this case as an unknown person attacked her. Kurat said we can close like that. We will brainstorm again. Sahiti got up and went into the kitchen. She must be going to make dinner. She looked out of the kitchen, asked all of you are staying for dinner. Mahira said she had to go back to her home for dinner. Kurat said he will have dinner and go. I said to Mahira you also have dinner and go, and she agreed. Mahira called her home and informed them that she will have dinner and come. Kurat also informed her mother that he will have dinner at our house. Sunitha already informed her parents of her return and she will be staying at our house. I went to the kitchen and asked Sahiti to make tea for us and came back and sat down. I said now each of you tell your ideas about her death. Kurat asked what about ghosts. I said we have already ruled out the possibility. Next Mahira said someone staying at the hotel. I said we can't verify that as we don't have any records with us. Sunitha said it must be someone in her life, like a patient. I said there is a possibility. But who could it be? I asked Kurat when you sent her items back there was no doctor certificates pad and her RMP rubber stamp with her things. Kurat said we sent whatever was found in her room. Sunitha asked what is the use of those doctor certificate pads. It is used for giving certificates as I gave you one for getting leave. It can be used in courts also. Showing someone was ill or incapacitated to attend court. What about prescription pads? Sunitha asked. Did they return them? I said no, I have not found any prescription pads. Sunitha asked what these prescription pads can be used for. I said one can get medicines that will not be sold over the counter like sleeping pills. Sunitha asked can they be used to get some kind of drugs available in medical stores, like high-intensity painkillers. I said it is possible. I don't know about those medicines, as I am out of touch with these newly introduced medicines in the market. One of my colleagues had got one of those medicines in the black market. They were not available in the medical store without a prescription. I thought why anyone would murder her for a prescription pad or medical certificate pad. They could just ask her or they could steal from her. Why they would go to the lengths of killing her for them? There must be something behind this. I looked around. Everyone seems thinking about our conversation. Sahiti came and called for dinner. I got up and said let us go for dinner guys. We silently had our dinner. Everyone is busy with their thoughts. I picked a packet of fags called Kurat and Mahira. We went to the terrace and smoked and came back. We sat down and looked at each other. None had any ideas to share. Mahira and Kurat got up, said they will go home now. I said we will speak tomorrow. They both left. I switched on TV and we sat watching TV. After some time Sunitha said she will sleep with the kids and went to their bedroom. I switched off and we both went to our bedroom. Sahithi seemed tense. I asked her what happened. You seemed tense. She said nothing. All this talk about Sneha's accident brings back memories. I am not feeling well remembering all this. I said sleep it off. My mind is on who could have done it. I could not find a solution to the mystery. I lay on the bed looking up at the ceiling. My mind is swirling with the events of the days before her death. What is the relation between her death and missing things? Sahithi put her hands on my chest and she seemed gone into a deep sleep. Her rhythmic breathing seemed to have a calming effect on me, and I slipped into sleep. I got up with a jolt as if someone tapped on my shoulder. I looked at Sahithi. She is sleeping facing the other side. There is no one else. I tried to remember why I woke up suddenly. Something is behind in my brain. I tried to remember. Nothing came to my mind. I got up, took a fag, went into the veranda. I lit the fag and inhaled smoke. My mind is going at high speed. What it struck me in my sleep. I inhaled smoke and thought about what was going on in my mind when I woke up. It seemed to move around in my head but is not coming in front of me. Suddenly I remembered once when I came home, Sneha was writing some prescriptions. There were no patients then. I asked her for whom you were writing prescriptions. She said some patient said he will come and pick the prescription first thing in the morning and I am writing his prescription. I said you could have written and could have given him. She said he had phoned for a prescription so she is keeping it ready. She put the pad and pen in the drawer of the table and locked it. It has not struck me then, why she locked the drawer. Who would go through the drawer? I snubbed the fag and went and looked in the drawer. It was unlocked and nothing important is present. That means whatever she placed there she must have removed it. Now another thought struck. What did she do with all the money she earned doing her work? I have not found any money on her at home or at the hotel. Previously I never went through her things that have been returned. Last time I only looked for prescription pads and rubber stamp. I went to her returned items bag and poured all the things on the floor. Only clothes were present. I found a zip on the side and opened it. There were some papers. Between the papers, there is a bank passbook and checkbook. I looked at the passbook entries. There was an amount of rupees 1,10,500. How did she save so much money? I looked at the entries in the book. On average she deposited an amount of rupees 10,000 per month. How did she get so much money? Could she earn that much just by giving medicines and certificates? My mind became numb thinking all this. I put the clothes back in the bag and put the checkbook and passbook in the cupboard. Went and lay on the bed. I could not go back to sleep. The amount of 1,10,500 was swirling in my mind. Sahithi. I woke up in the middle of the night. I touched beside me. Kumar is not there. I looked into the hall, light was burning. I got up and looked into the hall. Kumar is rummaging through Sneha's bag. What is he doing with that bag? What is he searching in it for? Now he is repacking the bag with the clothes. I came back to lay on the bed. He came and put something in the cupboard and lay on the bed. I put my hand on his chest and went back to sleep. When I got up it is 7 a.m. I hurriedly adjusted the bedsheet and went to the bathroom. After brushing I came back. Kumar is not there. I thought he must have gone out for a fag and went into the kitchen and made a cup of coffee. By the time I returned to the hall, he is sitting on the sofa. I asked him, do you want a cup, indicating my cup of coffee. He replied, no, I just had. I did not question him about what is he doing in the early morning. He got up, took a towel and went into the bathroom. I went into the bedroom and looked in the cupboard. Under some clothes, I found what I was looking for. It was Sneha bank passbook. I flicked through the pages and found on the last page the balance in her account. My eyes popped out looking at the figure. It is 1,10,500. How did she get such an amount? Did her parents or grandparents give her the cash? I checked through the cash deposits. She had deposited varying figures. If anyone gave her, it would not be multiple deposits, it would be a single amount. Where did she get the amount? Hearing the bathroom door, I put back the passbook and took out a dress from the cupboard and stood aside as if I am picking my dress to wear. Kumar came in and looked at me and took out his dress from the cupboard. I picked the towel from the hook and went to the bathroom. Where did she get such an amount? Absent-mindedly I rubbed the soap on my body, but my thoughts are on the balance on her passbook. After finishing the bath, came out and dressed. Came out to the hall. Chitty brought the breakfast in a serving bowl. I lifted the cover and looked inside. It is idli. How they can have idli daily. I put a couple of idlis on my plate and put some chutney. She brought a small bowl of sambar and placed it in front of me. I dipped the idli in sambar and lifted it with a spoon. Whatever the food, Chitty is a good cook. She would make a good wife to some lucky boy. I know we can't get a better cook. It is her selection of items. Slowly I am getting accustomed to South Indian cooking. I thought while it lasts, use her for my comfort. When she comes of age, we have to find a suitable boy and marry her off. That is the agreement Mom made with Chitty's family. Kumar came and sat on the chair beside me. Chitty put a plate in front of him and he put idlis in his plate and put a little chutney and started eating them. He likes idlis. He says they are better than dosas with oil. Something he watches is his eating. He tries to eat healthy food. After finishing my breakfast, I went and washed my hand in the wash basin. By the time I returned to the table, Chitty brought a cup of tea and put it there for me. I sipped my tea, went and brought my purse and sat on the sofa. After finishing his breakfast, he washed his hands, went to the bedroom. I heard the sound of opening and closing of the cupboard. He came out with his bag and sat on the sofa. Chitty brought his cup of tea, put it on the table. He picked the cup and started sipping it. I looked at him expecting him to say something. He must be in his own thoughts and did not utter a word. He put down the cup, picked his bag and started walking out of the room. I picked my bag, got up and went behind him. We started riding towards my office. I thought he would stop in front of the bank where Sneha has her account. But he continued towards my office. He dropped me and went towards his office. So, he is not going towards the bank. Heaving a sigh of relief, I went inside the office. Kumar. I did not know what to do with the passbook. I took it to show Kurat and Mahira. Mahira said she will come with Kurat to the factory. Being a marketing executive has its own perks. She can always say she is gone to meet some client. She did not have to report to her boss daily. She has to send daily reports of her activities only. Being the supervisor of the branch, her courier boys would cover her by saying she was here half an hour back. She went to meet a client. Her branch in charge Balachandar had resigned and left Mahira as supervisor. I waited for them to come. They came after half an hour. Kurat complained that Mahira delayed coming. She did not finish her makeup. I am not hearing anything. My mind is on the money in her bank account. Mahira sat opposite me, asked what is the matter. I showed her the bank passbook. She flipped through the book and when she reached the last page her eyes popped. She exclaimed, 1 lakh rupees. I nodded my head. She asked where did she get so much money. I shook my head and said I have no idea. She looked at the date of opening the account and said she must have opened the account after coming back. I nodded my head and said yes. She calculated the deposits and said it seems on average she put around 10,000 for a month. How she could earn that much? What she was doing? I said all I know is she is treating patients and giving out medical certificates. She asked what she could earn from that. I said 1 or 2,000 at most. She said if so, where is she getting so much from? I said that is what I am worried if she could have caught up in something illegal, which led her to her demise. They all sat silent for a minute as if paying her respects. I looked from Mahira to Kurat and back. They must be thinking of ways to earn such an amount in a year's time. I thought why she needs such an amount. Then it struck me after coming to Bombay with Sneha I thought of only thing is to save money to buy a house. What if it is her thought to buy us a house? She must be stifling to stay at Sahiti's house. She was staying there for my sake. She knew if we have to get out of Sahiti's house we have to go back to my father's quarters. When she came back we still had the small house. Now it is a little different, they have shifted to a bigger house. But still, she must have thought we should have our own house. That must be her reason to try to save so much money. I have to think from her perspective. She needed the money to get away from Sahithi. She was not comfortable staying in her house, staying with her. Even though she was my first wife and I married Sahithi when I felt Sneha would not return. She might not have felt the security living with her in her home. The sense of belonging was not there. She would have been happy in a rented house. Did I do something wrong by bringing her to live with Sahithi? Should I have left her with my parents? Have I been unreasonable with her? From the perspective of Sneha, I have not been a good, understanding husband. Did I push her to her death? I tried to help her and help our hotel by sending her there. It was not my mistake that she died in a fire accident. I can't blame myself for her death. I have to find the truth behind her death. That is the only way I can avenge her death, whatever means it has happened. I looked at Kurat and Mahira. They both were immersed in their thoughts. Mahira. What can I do if I had 1 lakh rupees? I might invest in some business. But what happened to Sneha? That still is a mystery. We could not understand the head or tail of the mystery. What way she could earn so much money in a year's time? She must have done some business, or someone from her family must have given her the money. Would her family give her a monthly or lump sum? Is there a way to earn such an amount sitting at home? My mind is searching for ways to earn money sitting at home. You could earn commission getting buyers and sellers together. But the commission can't be earned for a long time. Will they try to remove middlemen if they have to pay commission regularly? It should be a type of business they don't want to know each other. They only want to do business with middlemen. Is it something illegal that she was doing? Everything comes back to what was she doing to earn so much money? Sunitha. I got up and looked at the watch. It is after 9 a.m. How did I sleep so late? I came out of the room. Chitty asked, "Shall I get you coffee, Akka?" I thought why she is calling me Akka and she calls Kumar Anna. I chided Chitty to call me Bobby. Chitty asked, "Oh, like Vadina?" I said anything but not Akka. It feels like I am sister to your Kumar Anna. Chitty said, "Okay, Bobby. I will get your coffee. Go and brush your teeth." I went to the bathroom and came out after brushing and sat at the table. She put a cup of coffee in front of me. Chitty asked, "What do you feel about Ram Anna?" I said I don't have any feelings for him. He seems so distant. Even after spending 1 week with him, he still feels so distant from me. Chitty said, "When you said don't call me Akka, I thought you have some feelings for Ram Anna, then why did you chide me for calling Akka?" I replied, "It is not Ram. I feel something for your Kumar Anna. I feel like I know him from previous birth, like I had some feelings for him then. Like he was my lover or husband or something like that." Then it struck me these are the feelings I am talking about, my feelings for Kumar. Is it true we feel about our relations of previous births? Could it be we were close during our previous birth? I looked at Chitty for her reaction. She was looking at me strangely. I thought she did not understand what I told her. Is it because of my feeling for Kumar? I could not get any feelings for Ram. Is it because of this I rejected Ram? I could not make up my mind. It seems I have rejected Ram when I looked at Kumar. Ram is better looking than Kumar, has better earnings than Kumar, he is 3 inches taller. What is it in Kumar pulling me to him? He has some kind of magnetism, which pulls people to him. See his friends, they are ready to do anything for him. To solve his problems, they are doing everything. Look at Kurat and Mahira, they are always around him. Mahira must be working somewhere, but I always find her around Kumar. She was at his house, at the factory. What is his connection to them? Am I getting jealous of them? They are just friends, I am sure. Mahira is more times with Kurat than Kumar, they look as if they are a pair. From tomorrow I have to be back on duty. Can I leave this house and go away to stay with my parents? I have to come back saying I want to see the kids. Kumar. I said to Kurat, "We'll go to the bank and see about the account." I took the passbook and Sneha's death certificate and went to the bank and inquired about the status of the account. They said the nomination is in the name of Atul and Reena. I submitted the death certificate and gave it in writing to transfer the amount to a fixed deposit in the names of Atul and Reena to be available when they reach the age of 18. They said they will complete the formalities and let me have the certificates. Now it seems she may not have the intention of purchasing a house, rather she wants to secure the kids' future. Or there is a possibility of her thinking to buy a house. Putting in nomination means she did not want me to have the money in case of her death and she wants the money to go to the kids, to which I don't have any objection. I am only trying to understand her mindset. Which is her intention being the main concern, at least for me. Whatever it might be, I have to find the truth behind her death. Whatever I am trying, it is becoming more mysterious. We are using the elimination process and we eliminated every possible suspect. Now we have to change our thinking process. Somewhere we are missing something. Sunitha is having a detective mind. Due to her ideas we have come this far in our elimination process. I have not informed her of my finding her bank account. I have to see her reaction to my finding the bank account. I have not seen her in the morning. She might go to her house by the time we return. Maybe she will give me a ring. I thought let me check if she is at home or not first. I rang up home. Chitty picked up the phone. I thought she might have left and asked did Sunitha went away. She said she is here. She is sleeping with the kids. I said okay, tell her to wait for me before going home. She said she will tell her. I cut the call and looked at Mahira. She asked are you checking Sunitha is at home? I said it is not that. I have not seen her in the morning. I have not told her about the passbook. I said forget about the case for now and concentrate on the work now. Mahira got up and asked can you drop me at Chikala? Kurat got up and said I will drop her off and come back. I said okay, I will hold the fort here. They both went away. There is an order from our regular client. I noted it down and passed it to the shop floor. I immersed myself in work. I did not get time to think about anything else. The phone rang and I lifted received and said hello. It is Sahiti on the other side. She asked me to pick her up a little earlier. I looked at the watch. It is showing 5:40 p.m. I said I am leaving now. Took the scooter keys and went to pick her up. When we reached the home, Sunitha was up and playing with the children. Seeing as she said Chitty went to get groceries, would you like to have tea? I said please. She got up and went to the kitchen. I looked around, the house was tip-top in condition and clean. With Sunitha looking after the kids, Chitty must be having extra time to clean up. I sat down and asked Sahiti, what happened? She said I am fed up with the work. What I thought and what happened. From the time I was put on typing pool, everyone was asking me to do their work. Being the best has its disadvantages. I said then you ask the top manager to engage you on his rotation. If he did not agree, slowly put out a word you want to leave the company being fed up with the typing pool work. If it did not work, put down your papers, you can get a better job with your experience. For the time being, we can run our house with my income. We have some savings also. We got substantial payment from the sale of the hotel also, that also I put in a fixed deposit. You don't worry about the money. She asked you never worked anywhere else except the factory, where did you learn all this? I said I don't know, it must be from my reading books or it could be natural. Chitty came back from shopping. I asked her what did you bring? She said some groceries that were urgent. On the way back one man confronted me and was asking about Sneha Bobby. I asked what is he asking? He said where is she? Not been seen for some time. I told him she died in a fire accident. He said sorry and went away. I thought he must be her past patient. What did he want from her? Sahiti asked her what are you preparing for dinner? Chitty said let me see and went into the kitchen. I removed the passbook and showed it to Sunitha. What do you make of it? She looked through the book and looked at the last balance and said she is depositing cash throughout the year and the balance is above 1 lakh. I said I was thinking where did she get the money? Sunitha's first reaction was she must be doing some business. Some ladies sit at home and do clothes business. They give clothes on installments. I asked if she did where are the clothes. She said that is out of the question. Then what kind of business she might be doing? Rice business. Import from Andhra and sell it here. Andhra rice is very popular here. I said I don't think of that possibility. She said maybe her parents are sending her the money. I said that possibility we can't ignore. But how to find out if they are sending her money? Who is bringing her money? Why and when did they stop? All these questions will arise. There is no evidence to show such a thing happened. She said that is there. We have to eliminate possibilities as you said. I said you are correct. Now we have to think about how she got the money. In this line we have to work to find her killer. She kissed Reena first then Atul and took them into their room. I could not come to a conclusion about what happened to Sneha. Now after going through everything, it is coming back to her bank account. Where did she get the money, is the question. Sunitha came out of the room. I asked did the kids sleep. She said yes and came and sat on the sofa. I switched on TV and we started watching a program. Sahithi announced dinner and started placing the dishes on the table. Sunitha got up and went to help her. After placing the plates Sunitha said come for the dinner. I looked up and said coming. I washed my hands went and sat on the chair. Sahithi placed 2 rotis and aloo curry. The curry looked like the curry Sneha used to make. I asked Sahithi did Chitty made the curry. She said yes. I remembered Sneha never went to the market or grocery shopping after coming here. When in Bacola she used to bring vegetables and groceries while coming back from the clinic. After coming here, she could not go out due to children. That means until she went to the hotel she never stepped out of the house. Except to take the kids to the park. So, whatever she was doing from home only. Now only 2 possibilities are coming in front. She is doing some kind of business from the house or she was getting the money from her parents or grandparents. On these points, we should go forward for now. After finishing my dinner, I got up, washed my hands, came back and sat down on the sofa. Sunitha came and sat beside me and asked can you drop me at my house at 5 am? I said sure. You are going for duty tomorrow. She said yes. My leave is finished. I had to go. Looking at the children's room she said sadly I miss the kids. I said you can come anytime and spend time with them. There is no objection from any of us. She said thanks, I will do that. I got up at 4 am and made 2 cups of coffee and woke up Sunitha. I said get up I will drop you at your house. She said sleepily good morning give me 5 minutes, took the cup and set it on the bedside table. I said I will be ready and went to my room and dressed up. She came out with the bag. I picked up the bag and took the keys and we proceeded to the parking. I put the bag in the front and started driving towards her house. I was there by 4:55. I said I am on time I hope. She said thanks. I said shall I bring the bag to your door? She said it's okay I can manage. I turned back to our house. For the next few days, I was busy with work. We got a big order from the paint company in Bacola. We were trying to complete the order and deliver the tins to them. Then there are other clients' orders we have to finish. It was a very tough week. We were working for 18 hours per day. I asked Sahithi to go home on her own. I used to drop her off in the morning. I was coming back home after midnight. Sahithi had 3 days holiday and she decided to spend them with her parents and her sister and her kids. She said she would take the kids to her parents' house. I said take Chitty with you she would be helpful to you. She said she thought of that. She did not want to leave her alone in the house. It is Sunday evening. I was home early as I just delivered to the paint company and back. I thought I will take some rest after working full-time for the last week. Kurat said he will finish the work and go home. I parked the scooter and went up to our flat. I was about to open the door. I heard a voice call my name from behind. It's Sunitha. I asked what are you doing here? She replied I came to see the kids. I rang the bell and no one opened the door. I thought Chitty must have taken the kids to the park or something. I was just out to the park not finding her there I came back. I saw you entering the building on your scooter came running. I asked what is the need for running? She said it's literally running. Just a figure of speech. I asked now you are also using the figure of speeches. She laughed and said oh, don't talk rubbish. I let that one ride. I opened the door and said come in. Would you like a cup of tea? She asked did I ever refuse a cup of tea? I said question with a question. I put the bag down and went and washed my face and changed went into the kitchen made 2 cups and brought them and put them on the table. I asked, so, what is the news? She said, news. There is no news. I said, no news is good news. She asked, what do you mean? I said that as a figure of speech, no news is good news. It has to do with the war front. If there is no news from the war front means, everyone is safe there. She said, you are on a roll today with the figure of speeches. I said, who started? She asked, where are the kids? I switched on the TV and said they are at Sahithi's parents' place. There are 3 days holidays and she is spending there with her sister and her kids. She said, I miss them. That's why I came to look at them. I asked, shall I take you to them? She replied, no, it would not look good. What would they think? I said, okay, no problem. You can look at them when they return. I got up and asked her, shall I bring something to eat? She said, I will prepare something. I said, I will bring chicken from the shop. I went and brought chicken and asked her, will you make it or shall I make it? If you are a good cook, you better make it. I said, then cut some onions and I will prepare this chicken. With her help, I made chicken fry and made rasam. Put rice in the cooker and came out and sat on the sofa. I switched on the TV. There was a scene of the characters drinking. I remembered I had half a bottle somewhere. I got up and searched in the kitchen cupboard and found the bottle. I brought the bottle, put it on the table. I asked her, would you like a peg? She said, I don't drink. I said okay and brought myself a glass and some chicken pieces. I poured a drink and said to Sunitha to have some chicken. She picked a piece and started chewing it. I sipped and took a piece in my mouth. After a few minutes, she asked, can I taste a little? I offered her my glass. She took the glass, drank it with a gulp and took a chicken piece and started chewing it. I looked at her, poured a little into the glass, gave her the glass. She sipped the drink and picked a piece of chicken. I got up, brought myself a glass and sat down. I poured myself a drink and sipped a little and put it down. I got up, replenished the chicken on the plate. We both sat and completed the bottle and chicken on the plate. I said, I will serve the dinner, went into the kitchen, brought the dishes, put them on the table. I put 2 plates and called her to the table. We finished dinner in silence, washed my hands and came and sat on the sofa. She sat on the side sofa watching the TV. I looked at her. I thought she was so pretty. If she had married my brother, she would be my Bobby. Now she is nothing to us. Why did she come to my house today? She said she had come for the kids. Even after knowing they are not here, she stayed back. When I said I will bring something to eat, she offered to cook. Then she sat with me, had drinks. What to make of it? I got up to go to the toilet. As I was entering, she said, I will go and sleep. I said okay and closed the toilet door. I came back, sat on the sofa as no one is in the house, lit a fag, sat watching TV. When the program finished, I switched off the TV, lights and went to the bedroom. There is a bed light on and I went and sat on the bed. I turned to lay on the bed. I found a silhouette on the bed. I looked closely. It is Sunitha. What she is doing here? I thought I should go and sleep in the children's room. As I was getting up to go, she caught my hand, asked, where are you going? I am waiting for you. She pulled me. As I was not expecting her to pull me, I fell on her. Sunitha. I had finished my shift early and the next day is a weekly off for me. I thought I should go and look at the kids. I might find Kumar also. Why my heart is pulling me towards him? Why do I feel like I should meet him? What is my relation to him? Why am I feeling empty in my heart for not meeting him for the last 10 days? What is happening to me? I have not felt like this about anyone. Even with my last boyfriend, I have not felt like this. Ram, I have spent a week and he did not have this kind of pull on me. What is that between us? I went to Kumar's house. It's locked. Where does Chitty go? Must have gone to a park or something. I went and looked around the park. She was not found. I came out of the park, walking towards the building. I saw Kumar entering the building on his scooter. I went to the house. By the time I reached his flat, he was about to open the door. We went in and he said he will bring chicken. When he brought the chicken, I helped him prepare it and then he removed a bottle of whiskey from somewhere. When he asked me, I said no. What would he think if I had said yes? Then when he asked me to help myself to some chicken, when I put the chicken in my mouth, I remembered the party I had with my girlfriends in college. I asked him to let me taste it. He gave me his glass. I took a gulp of it. Then he put another peg in the glass and gave it to me. It means he did not mind my drinking. So, we together finished the drink in the bottle. I felt the drink going into my head. When he called to have dinner, I silently had dinner, and after some time, I said I will go and sleep. I thought he will come behind me when I entered their bedroom. Instead, he went and watched TV. I waited for him and drifted off to sleep. When he sat on the bed, I woke up with the movement of the bed. He saw me. Instead of sleeping, he was about to go away. I pulled him and he fell on me. I did not feel any pain. Instead, something moved in my heart. I pulled him close and kissed him on the mouth. Chapter 4. Kumar. It is 1 month after that night at our house. We did not feel any guilt after that night. We felt like our souls have matched and become one. We felt like we have been together for infinity. It's something that can't be described in words. Sunitha was coming to our house every week on her weekly off. She was sleeping in the children's room. We have been acting as if nothing happened between us. Sahithi did not suspect Sunitha was at our house on that Sunday night. Even though we were not physically close during this month, we felt like our souls have become one. We could feel each other's feelings and thoughts like a telephone connection between our minds. Without touching each other, we could feel the closeness. We don't need to sleep with each other to feel the closeness. The thought of that night would bring us close. Sunitha decided to rent a flat for herself. She told her parents that she would live with her colleagues as it would be easier for them to attend to her duties. We went and looked at some flats. One flat we found suitable as the owners were away in Nagpur and they asked the watchman to rent it out. We said to him that she works as an air hostess and I am traveling regularly. We would not be at home every day. We paid the advance and took the keys from him. It was a furnished apartment and we did not need anything else. We replenished groceries and vegetables and I left her at her house to collect her things. I put some night dresses and a dress in the bag and went to the flat and left them there. Now instead of Sunitha coming to see the children, I would go to the flat on her weekly off day. I started managing my hours around her timings. As we explained to the watchman, we could come and go as we please. As it was on the ground floor, normally no one would disturb us. But our neighbors were so nosy people. We used to come separately and go separately. One of the neighbors caught me as I was going, started making small conversation. I looked at my watch and said I will miss my train, talk to you later, and went away. Sunitha. After spending the night with Kumar at his house, I felt I was on cloud 9. I was going on every week off to Kumar's house on the pretext of seeing the kids. After a month of seeing him and being able not to touch him, I felt like something is missing in my life. I told my parents I would like to stay with our other air hostesses and told Kumar I would like to rent a flat, somewhere easy for both of us. He found a good flat for us and he paid the advance and rented the flat. Now we can meet regularly and spend time. I could not keep away from him. I want to meet him daily, but my timings would not allow it. We try to meet on my weekly off days. He could always say he had some work and get away. This way we started spending our time with each other. Chapter 5. The year 1991. Kumar. Sunitha and I were spending whatever time was available with us. She has a vice-like grip on me. Looking at the children, I wanted to get away from her. I could not stop going to the flat whenever she calls me. During the last month, she used to take extra leave and asked me to meet her at the flat. She was becoming wild day by day. Her demands were increasing and she was pressing me like the machine removes sugar cane juice, running me dry. Kurt suspected something is happening in my life. Still, he kept his mouth shut. If I had spent the night with her, I had to go home and sleep it off. Sahithi did not suspect anything as I was always working late and would come home tired. Now the children's birthday is coming up and we have to prepare for it. Sahithi. Kumar is working too much for the last few months. I don't know what Kurt pays him, but he works him to his full capacity. I thought to ask Kurt about this, but thinking they acted like friends, could not ask him. As per Kumar, Kurt spends more time with Mahira than at the office. Kumar had to take extra work. What is with these two? I could not understand. I find Sunitha was also not coming to see children as before. She must be busy with her work. Whenever she comes, Chitty gets some free time. She would do some cleanup work, go shopping. Nowadays I had to do grocery and vegetable shopping. Or else I keep looking after the kids and let Chitty go shopping. She also should get some time to go out. How can she be cooped up in this house forever? She has to learn to live in this world. Sometimes I think I should resign and look for something else less tiring. Even if I get half of what I am getting, that would be okay. I have to speak to Kumar about this. Current. There was something of a change in Kumar. He was not concentrating like before. At odd hours he would go away and come back. Sometimes he would come late to the factory. I have to speak to him about this. At least both of us could maintain the work at the factory. Dad is also not spending much at the factory. He seems to be looking at ways to start new businesses. He would sit with the uncle and plan businesses. He has left the factory for both of us to run. We have a good shop floor supervisor, who can look after the factory. At least the factory is not suffering due to this. Sometimes I also go out with Mahira. She would ask me to take to her clients. Kumar covers me during those times. I have to cover for him. After we discussed Sneha's death, not an accident, he was a changed man. He would look at ways to find what happened to her. Then after finding her passbook he would look at ways she would earn that money. Maybe thinking about her death, he is not sleeping well. Probably getting some clue. He would rush to clear his doubts. We have supported him all this time. We will cover for him for some more time. I got a bottle of foreign whiskey from a friend. We did not have a place to have a party. I asked Kumar, can we have a party at your house? Showed him the bottle. He said he had a better place. One of his friends had a flat nearby. He goes on trips. We can have parties there whenever we like. I called Mahira there and we went to the place indicated by Kumar. We three of us entered the gate. He nodded to the watchman and we went to the flat by opening the door with his key. We sat down, set down the bottle. Kumar brought glasses from inside and put a plate of snacks. We started sipping our drinks. I heard the sound of the door opening. I said, did your friend come? Shall I pour another glass? He said to wait and went out. We heard whispers and Sunitha came in. I was surprised. Is it Sunitha's flat? She said hi, are you having a party? Carry on, and went to the other room, changed and came in. She asked what is the occasion. I said a friend gave us this bottle, we just want to enjoy it. She said pour me a drink. I was surprised that she drank. Kumar brought a glass from inside and I poured her a peg. She gulped the drink and sat down. She took the snacks from the plate, munched on them. If it is Sunitha's room, how did he get a key to the house? He did not pick it from the watchman. Did he come here regularly? Is he having an affair with her? She seemed to be at home with her drink. Did she drink regularly? Or are they drink buddies? Is this the reason for his lethargy? I asked Sunitha, is this your flat? She replied, no, it is one of our colleagues. We all use it for parties or for spending some time like that. Today I have a layoff for 2 hours. I have to get back. Instead of going home, I came here to change. Her explanation seemed plausible. If you have to go back, can you drink? She replied, I just received a message that our trip got cancelled due to some technical snag. I don't have to go back. So, I sat down to drink with you. So, what is happening? How is the work at the factory? I heard you are overworking yourselves. Kumar is not getting time to meet me. I have not seen him possibly for a month. 4 of us chatting completed the bottle. Kumar made some omelets with bread. We finished eating and laid down on the bedsheet laid on the floor. I got up, looked at the time, it is 8 p.m. For how long we have been sleeping? I looked around. Mahir is sleeping a little distance. She is covered in a bedsheet. It seems Kumar and Sunitha must have gone out. I got up, finding myself in undies. Where are my clothes? I found them at a little distance. I went, picked them up and wore them. Went to Mahira, lifted the bedsheet a little. She was without any clothes on her. I dropped the bedsheet. What happened here? The last thing I remember is having an omelette with bread and laying on the floor and going to sleep. Whatever happened, I should not be here when she wakes up. Went and looked at the other room. Kumar and Sunitha were sleeping on the bed. They are covered in a single bedsheet. What is happening around here? What were they doing? What was I doing here? Let me get out of here. Kumar can look after Mahira if she wakes up. I took my bike keys and went out of the door. The watchman was not there at the gate. I took my bike and drove to my house. Kumar. After serving them omelets, I took Sunitha to the bedroom and left her there and came back. Removed the bottle and glasses and put them in the kitchen. When I came back, Mahira was awake and trying to wake up Kurat. He must have too much to drink. She was kissing him and trying to arouse him. Seeing them like that, my inner self woke up and I went to the bedroom and started kissing Sunitha. We are spent and went to sleep. I woke up at around 9 p.m. I came into the other room. Kurat must have gone away. Mahira still sleeping on the bedsheet. I woke her up. She got up and found herself without any clothes. She pulled the bedsheet up and said, "Hand me my clothes." I gave her clothes, came out of the room and closed the door. Mahira. What happened to me I don't know. After consuming alcohol, I became a different person. I literally did everything possible with Kurat. He cooperated with me and after we went to sleep. I woke up when Kumar awoke me. Finding no clothes on me, I pulled up the bedsheet and asked him to give me my clothes. He gave me clothes and left the room, closing the door behind me. I dressed up and came out of the room. Kumar is sitting there smoking. I asked him to give me a fag. He handed me one and lit it. I inhaled the smoke and looked at him. He was not minding me. I thought he did not think of anything of what we did. Is he aware of Kurat's indiscretions? What he must be thinking. I did not get the courage to ask him that. Instead, asked him, "Where is Kurat?" He said he must have gone home. His bike is not there. I asked him, "How will I go home?" He said, "I will drop you home or you can stay the night." I said, "I am well rested. I want to go home." He took the scooter keys, said, "I will drop you. First let me tell Sunitha." He went to the bedroom, whispered something and came out. He said, "Let us go." We came out of the house. The watchman is sitting at the gate. He told him, "I will drop her off and come." He dropped me at my house and went away. Chapter 6. Kumar. I have arranged the party for the children's birthday. This time the party is low-key. My expenses have increased and my income was static. We only called family members, Kurat, Mahira, and Sunitha. This time Sunitha kept her distance from Ram. He brought his friends to the party. Party was a little dull, which was spruced by Ram's friends singing. We sat around and he was singing. The party finished and they had dinner and left. After the party, Kurat caught me and took me aside. He asked me what happened after the party. I asked, "Don't you remember anything?" After sleeping off, I don't remember anything until 8 p.m. when I got up from sleep, he replied. I said, "After the party Mahira almost raped you. She was kissing you, arousing you, and I left the room then. I don't know really what happened after that." He said, "When I woke up we both were on the floor. She was under a bedsheet and I was on the floor. I asked, "Was it your first night?" He replied, "We have not been like that before. I don't know what came of her. One thing I am regretting is that I can't remember anything." I said, "If you want I will arrange another sitting for you. This time don't drink too much." He said, "Please arrange that for me." Sahithi. This year's birthday was a little off-key. Kumar only invited our families and his friends. The men had their party and had dinner and left. I asked Kumar what happened this year. He said tensions at work prevented me from going for a big party. So, this low-key affair. Over these children are still little, they won't remember anything. When they grow up they will demand a bigger party. Then we can't have these drink parties. At least your family and my family had attended. I asked, "Who came with your brother?" He said he is a great singer. He is my brother's friend. Did you hear him sing? Marvelous singing talent. I brought a peg and gave and said, "You did not have a drink today, have this and come for dinner." I asked, "Where is Sunitha? She did not come for the children's birthday." He said she might be flying tonight. I don't know. I looked at him suspiciously. I thought you knew her every schedule, did you not invite her? He said, "I might have forgotten to inform her, I don't remember." I said, "You are becoming very tense these days. Don't work so much. You don't remember what you are doing. Concentrate on the house also. What time you are coming home, I don't know. He looked at me wearily and said okay, I will do that. What is becoming of him? He is not even taking care of children. I doubt he even hugs them nowadays. He is their father. If he did not take care of them, who will take care? Kumar. Sunitha said she will be back by 11 p.m. and called me to come to the flat. I said give me a ring when you come back. I can make an excuse and go there. I don't know what I am seeing in Sunitha over Sahithi. Why am I running after her? Sunitha is more beautiful and Sahithi is more caring. Then why am I choosing Sunitha? What name can we give to our relationship? The phone rang and I went and lifted the receiver and said hello, then on the other side the phone cut. I said I will come right away and cradled the receiver. Seeing Sahithi looking at me I said there is an emergency at the factory, they called Kurat and he has not reached home. So, they are calling me to come immediately. I dressed and took the scooter keys and left the home to go to Sunitha's flat. Sunitha. I could not live without Kumar's presence in my life. Even though it was not my weekly off, I had to meet him. So, I called to come when I reached the flat. I was becoming more desperate for his bodily companionship. Even on the flight, I was thinking about him only. It was interfering with my work. I want him to myself. How can I achieve that? At least he agreed to come at this hour. Today is his children's birthday and he must be busy with the celebrations. I could not attend, because I could not get the day off and our flight was delayed. I thought his children were my priority, but now Kumar was becoming my number one priority. Shall I leave this job and get one where I need to work 9 to 5? Or where I can work in shifts and he could make time to meet? Something on those lines. What should I do? I couldn't make up my mind. If my parents know this, what they would think? They would say don't enter our house again. Go and live with him only. That would be okay. I was sitting in the hall with my thoughts. I heard the door opening. Rushed to the door. I did not let him close it. I flung myself at him and started kissing him. He seemed surprised with my attitude. I took him to the bedroom. Threw him on the bed, almost raped him with my urgency. Satiated, I slept beside him. Put my hand on his chest. Said I could not live without you. This thing of meeting on weekly off days is not working. We need to meet more often. What can I do to make that happen? Kumar. Her question threw me off guard. After a full day of work and arrangements of the party, and this thing with Sunitha made me fully tired. I said give me some time to think. She said okay, let me know your opinion. I drifted off to sleep. I got up in the morning, saw Sunitha still sleeping, took out my keys, and went home. Sahithi asked what took so long. I said I was tired, I slept in the office. She seemed to believe me. What if she asks Kurat? I have to keep informing him of the details to keep him covering for me. Otherwise, he may get confused and tell the truth. I can always say he did not know the details, that is why he is getting confused. What is happening to me? I thought of myself as the most truthful and honest person. For Sunitha's sake, I am lying through my teeth. How long can this continue? What will happen if Sahithi came to know of my relationship with Sunitha? She will certainly throw me out of the house. I don't have to worry because now I can go to Sunitha's flat. What if that's what Sunitha wants and tells Sahithi about our affair? Sunitha would make Sahithi throw me out of the house. But what would happen after that? Would she file a complaint? Would she ask for a divorce? I can cover both of them with the help of a clever lawyer. My marriage with Sahithi consummated at the time I was married to Sneha. Can she ask for a divorce based on that? I don't have the legal knowledge, but that point could come up in our case. I don't have any assets or big bank balances in my name. By giving me a divorce she could gain nothing from it. Over that she had the flat on her name. I could contest for a share of that. She may not go to court for a divorce. Any lawyer would discourage her. I completed my bath and went to the bedroom to wear fresh clothes. Dressed up, I came out and sat at the dining table. Chitty brought the breakfast and placed it on the table. It is pongal, not the sweet variety but laced with black pepper and fried kaju. It is one of my favorites. She made tomato chutney to go with it. I had 2 servings and got up and washed my hands and sat on the sofa. Chitty brought a cup of tea and handed it to me. I asked her where is Sahithi. She said she must be bathing. I asked so long. She replied I don't know. Sahithi went to the bedroom to dress. She came back and sat down for breakfast. She silently ate breakfast and got up and washed her hands, came and sat on the sofa. Chitty brought her cup of tea. She silently took it and started sipping it. I thought why the silent treatment? I took the scooter keys and asked her are you coming? She just nodded. I went down, took the scooter out, started and waited for her. She came after 2 minutes, sat behind me silently. I looked back, seeing her seating properly, started to drive. I dropped her off and reached the factory. Kurat was waiting eagerly. I got a bottle of whiskey. When shall we have our party? I said let me check Sunitha's schedule. I will plan it accordingly. He must have thought I want to include Sunitha in the party. I had other ideas, I want to exclude her from the party. I said give me 2 days, I will plan something for Sunday. He said okay. On Saturday night I went to Sunitha's flat. After our sex I asked are you available tomorrow? Kurat is planning a party. She asked at what time. I said around 2 p.m. She said no, I can't make it. I have a flight. I said okay, thinking that's what I wanted. I showed my disappointed face and said oh, I will miss you. I rang up Kurat and said the party is on for Sunday at 2 p.m. Inform Mahira also. I already informed her. I will confirm with her tomorrow morning. I got up, dressed and said we'll see you tomorrow evening and went to my house. The next day after breakfast I said to Sahithi, we have some work at the factory. Kurat told me to come. I will come back in the evening. I went to Sunitha's flat with some snacks and called Kurat, everything ready. He said he will come there. Around 1:30 p.m. Kurat came with Mahira. I have already arranged for the party. He took out the bottle and put it in the middle. I warned him don't drink too much. We had 2 pegs each and I put the bottle aside. I said we will have it later. Taking that as a signal, Kurat went and sat beside Mahira. Mahira's back is to the door. I got up, took the glasses and plates and went to the kitchen. I came back and looked into the room. Kurat put his hand on her shoulder, whispering something in her ears. I went and sat on the other side of Mahira. She seemed surprised to find me there. She looked at me and saw the lust in my eyes. She asked how long you were holding this. I said from the time of our last party. When I saw your chest that day I have fallen for you. I reached and kissed her on the mouth. Kurat must have thought I was taking the lead, turned her head to his side, kissed her. I pressed her boob on my side. A little sound left her mouth. I reached behind her and pulled the zip of her dress. I pulled the dress up and threw it aside. She did not mind my actions. I pressed her on her bra. She turned to me and kissed me on the mouth. I and Kurat took turns kissing her. She said to Kurat, please ride me. He got on top of her and started having sex. I put my dick in her mouth, taking a blow job. We did not hear the door nor see Sunitha standing at the door. When I heard the door bang shut, I realized that someone came and looked at us and went away. My whole body froze. I got up, dressed up and looked out. No one was there. I went and asked the watchman, has Sunitha come now? He said she came and went away. Now I understood what a blunder I made. Because I invited her, she came and saw us and went away. I went in and said to Kurat, I am going home, locked the door while going away and went home. I reached home and opened the door, stepped into the hall. I find Sunitha sitting there glaring at me. I don't want to take any risk and said, hi Sunitha, when did you come? As I don't know what she told Sahithi, I kept my mouth shut. Sahithi came out and said sarcastically, did you finish your work? Now I understood, Sunitha must have told her. Still keeping my senses, I did not say anything. Sunitha said, ask him what is he doing. I looked at Sahithi. She did not say anything. I looked at Sunitha. Sunitha said angrily, he is having an affair with Mahira. He, Kurat and Mahira were having a threesome. Still, Sahithi did not say anything. Sunitha shouted, am I not sufficient for you? Now you are fucking Mahira. What is with you men? You go and fuck anyone who comes in front of you. Sahithi asked Sunitha, how did you know he was having a relationship with her? She said, I saw with my own eyes. Sahithi asked where? Sunitha replied, at my flat. Sahithi asked, what were they doing at your flat? Sunitha replied, they were having a party. Sahithi asked what kind of party. Sunitha replied drinks party. Sahithi asked did you give them keys. Sunitha replied Kumar had a set of keys to the flat. Sahithi asked so you gave him a set of keys to him. Sunitha replied it is Kumar who rented the flat for me and he kept a set. What was he doing with the keys asked Sahithi. Sunitha replied he was meeting me there weekly. Sahithi asked so, it was you he was having an affair. Sunitha's face pulled down and replied yes. So, it was you after rejecting his brother who had a relationship with him. You were staying with your parents. Now you rented a flat and had an affair with my husband. Now you are saying that he is having an affair with someone else. I don't understand who is at fault here, you or him. Sahithi gave a tongue lashing to Sunitha. Unable to bear the constant questioning she got up and stormed out of the house. Sahithi looked at me and asked what is going on. It is true that I had looked and found a flat for her. I had an extra key with me to the flat. I used to go and replenish groceries and vegetables. It is close to the factory. Sometimes we go and prepare lunch or dinner there. One night we had our lunch and I felt a little drowsy and fell asleep there. Kurat had gone back to the factory. During sleep, I felt someone sleep beside me and I thought it was you and let her have sex with me. When I woke up it was her sleeping beside me. I got up and ran away to the factory. That was the only time I had sex with her. Today Kurat brought a bottle of foreign liquor and we decided to have the party there. I did not know she would come unexpectedly. She saw Kurat and Mahira and thought it was me and rushed to you with accusations. She looked at me angrily. I said I just had sex with her only once that too thinking it was you. I did not have any intention of having an affair with her. It was all in her head. She was a maniac. She was always calling me to come to her flat. I always went with Kurat. So, she did not have a chance to put her hooks into me. That's why she is trying to separate us. So I will go to her running. I looked at Sahithi. It seems her brain is working overtime to understand the situation. I know women take their husband's words over any others. I had given a plausible explanation and waited for her reaction. She sat there sitting for maybe 5 minutes. She looked at me and asked you did not have an affair with her. I said no. I said I promise on Sneha, thinking she is already dead. I don't do promises and she seemed to believe me. She came to me, kissed me on the head, asked you won't leave me and go away. It seems it's her fear of my going away. She has forgiven me. The next day I met Kurat and said sorry I got away in between. Did you have good time? He said we had a wonderful time, thanks to you. After you went away she became wilder and I had my first experience. I said for the time being we lost access to Sunitha's flat and explained to him what happened at my house. He asked how did Sahithi had forgiven you for sleeping with Sunitha. I said it is a woman's weakness I hit upon. She thinks I slept with her thinking it was Sahithi. It was natural for her to forgive me else she would lose a loving husband. She had no intention of losing me. If she tells me to go away she would lose the children also. That's where I hit her. She knew she could not have children of her own. She was scared to death of childbearing. She treats them as her own and she could not live without them. Kurat said what will we do for our next party? He seems eager to meet Mahira again. I said I will try to make up with Sunitha. She is also dependent on me for emotional support. This will be a temporary situation. Sahithi. I was so angry with Kumar. But I know my Kumar would not do such a thing with any other woman. Even when Sneha was alive, he would come and be with me only. How can I believe Sunitha? She seemed to be lying. She had her eyes on Kumar from the last year when she came to our home on the kid's birthday. Even she rejected Kumar's brother after spending a week with him. What kind of girl would do that? At first, I thought she was coming to our house for the kids. Now I understand that she was coming for Kumar. She must be trying to get close to him since that time. As she could not lay her hands on him she made him look for a flat. She would know one day or other she could corner him to have sex with him. When she found him sleeping tiredly she had sex with him. It is all her fault. What I could not understand is what she is talking about Mahira. I know Mahira and Kurat were close, but they always behaved like best friends. Kumar did not intrude into their relationship at all. I saw him keeping Mahira at arm's length. Whatever she was talking about, Mahira should be jealous. She was jealous that they have not included her in the party or not informed her or not taken her permission. Otherwise, why would she come and talk of Mahira like that? The only thing, as she could not corner Kumar, she wants to separate us and she would take him to her house. That only seems a plausible reason for her reaction. Yes, she wanted to separate us. I should not let that happen to our relationship. What she thinks about married couples' relation, she could break us up like that. I would never let that happen. Kumar is only my true love. I have not loved anyone else in my life. When I saw him after Sneha went away, I could not let him get away from me. From the time I laid my eyes on him, I have a soft corner for him. I was disappointed when I found out he was already married. I went and looked at his wife. She was not as beautiful as me, but she was reasonably pretty, maybe a little dark. When she came back, I thought he would leave me and go and live with her. That is the reason I let her stay with us. If I had asked him to keep her somewhere else, he would have gone with her. I kept him close and her children closer. It was just a misunderstanding that day when we quarreled. He took her away and kept her at the hotel, but he stayed with me only. That day he proved he was mine only. When Sneha died, he was not that much heartbroken as I had anticipated. That proved another point. He would prioritize me over her. When Sunitha came and accused him, how calmly he spoke and defended himself. That proves his innocence. Now I am sure he is mine only. I don't have any fear of losing him. Sunitha. When I saw Kumar with them, my blood boiled with rage. I came out of the house. For this, he called me today. What is he doing with them? Getting a blow job from Mahira, when Kurat fucking her. How long this was going on? I have to do something. I went to his house to complain about him to Sahithi. Instead of throwing him out of the house, she defended him. What does she think about herself? She called me names instead of Kumar. Forget her and forget him. I can live my life without him. What is he to me? Not my husband, just a fucking buddy. He never told me I love you until now. I also did not tell him. It is not love between us, it is only lust. I want him to fuck me, that's all I want from him. He is a marvelous lover in bed. I would miss that. Forget him. Maybe when the advance runs out I will go back to my parents' place. I don't have weekly off until Wednesday. I will decide what to do then. Kumar. I checked with the airlines and found her next weekly off is next Wednesday. So, this Sunday she would not be at the flat. I gave the keys to Kurat and said you can have your party on Sunday at the flat. I could not make it as I have to make it up to Sahithi. If Sunitha comes home you can always invite her to the party. On Wednesday, I dropped Sahithi at her office and went straight to Sunitha's flat. I know she would be asleep at this time. I took the keys from Kurat on Monday itself. I opened the door silently, went into the bedroom. She is fast asleep. I removed my clothes and went inside the bedsheet. I pulled her close and started to kiss her. She woke up with a jerk and shrieked. I said in a whisper, "It is me." Seeing me on the bed, she started kissing me. Having spent, I turned and picked a fag from the nightstand and lit it. She put her hand on my chest and said, "Where did you go? I thought I would never see you again." I asked her angrily, "Are you mad to over to Sahithi?" She said angrily, "What are doing with Mahira?" I said she invited me for a blow job. It is just a blow job. I did not have sex with her. She said, "Promise. You did not have sex with her." I said, "I promise I did not." She kissed me on the cheek and said, "Promise me you will not abandon me anytime." I said, "Why would I abandon you? You are my love, you are my everything. I told you I will plan something and you went and told Sahithi everything. Now if try to get away she will suspect me. Let us continue like this for some time. I will plan something for the future." She said, "Why don't you leave her?" "How can I do that?" I asked. "She would contest for children. Everything will come up in divorce and I don't know what the courts will decide. Better to let sleeping dogs lie. Let us see what the future holds for us." Sunitha. When Kumar started kissing me while I was sleeping, I thought someone had come into the flat. When I found it was Kumar, I could not contain my happiness. I thought I lost him forever, but here he is lying beside me smoking. I asked him why don't you leave Sahithi and come live with me. He gave some mumbo jumbo about courts and children's custody. I am sure he did not want to leave her. It is no problem, he never promised me he would leave her to come to stay with me. Before this day I never asked him to leave her. There is still time for that. I have to plan something to separate them. That is the only way I can have him to myself. I have used the excuse, he is with other women with her, which failed. What else a woman can use against a fellow woman leaving her husband? I have to think hard and fast. I might come up with a good idea. Kumar. Now Sunitha is back in my fold. She is making me so tired, but the sex is worth it. Now I have convinced her to give me some time to plan. She would back off doing something stupid as she did going to Sahithi. I have put these two in their places. I have missed that day with Mahira. I think it would be stupid of me to try something again so soon. It would be impossible to try it at Sunitha's place. We have to find another place. Going to a hotel is not safe. Kurat sent me to collect payment from Thane. I went by a scooter. While coming back, little drizzle started. As I was not inconvenienced by the drizzle, I did not stop. While I am nearing Bandup, a car from behind came and must have slipped on some stones or something. It veered a little and scratched me on the side. I was going slowly and I fell down from the scooter. I had scratches on my hands. I got up, straightened the scooter and put it on the stand. I looked at the car, which stopped a little ahead. A lady got out of the car and came over. Seeing I am not injured seriously, she said, I am sorry, the car lost control. Take my card. When you get treated, come and collect the medical bill from me. I have been delayed, otherwise I would have taken you to the hospital myself. I said I am okay. I don't think I will need any medical attention. She said no problem, come and meet me. I looked at the card. Her name mentioned on the card was Loveleen Khanna. I thought she is Punjabi. The company name is Loveleen's Interior Decorating Services and its address is in Andheri West. I put the card in my pocket and started the scooter, went to the factory. I went to the toilet, cleaned myself and came into the cabin. Kurat, looking at me, asked what happened. A car just scratched and I fell down and some scratches on my hands. He said let me look. I said no problem. He asked who is that, did you take down the car? No. I said it was a lady, she did give me a card and told me to come and meet her. I handed him the card. He studied the card and said she is a Punjabi and she has an interior decoration business. We can have our house decorated freely. I said don't be a fool. We should not extort people like that. Kurat asked is she pretty? I said I don't know, it was a little dark. He said she gave you a card, then go and see her and tell me. I said you have a dirty mind. The next day I went to Jogeshwari West on work. While returning I remembered the card given by Loveleen. I wanted to see how she looked and she would be wondering she left me on the side of the road and how I might be. I went to the address mentioned, parked in the parking area, went to her office. It was tastefully decorated and it looked every inch an interior decorating office. There was a receptionist sitting at a counter and I went to her, showed the card she gave me and said I want to meet her. She asked what work you have with her. I said she called me. She said go inside, the last cabin is hers. I went inside, went to the last cabin. Knocked on the door and went inside. She must have thought I was some worker of hers and asked did you finish the work? I said what work? She said sorry. Who are you? I said yesterday you gave me this card. She must have remembered the accident yesterday. Sorry, I did not recognize you. It was dark yesterday. I said no problem. She said sit down. Do you drink something? Coffee or tea or perhaps a cool drink? I said no thanks. I just came over to inform you that I am okay. Just a little scratch on my hand, showed her the small band-aid I put on the scratch. She heaved a sigh and said thank God you were not hurt. I was scared you might have been hurt. I was late and I could not attend to you. I said no problem. I am okay. She asked what do you do? I am a manager with the tin packing manufacturing unit. What do you do there? I said I look after the whole factory. She said so young and a manager who looks after the factory. She sat back leisurely and asked where do you stay? I said Bakroli. She asked own or rented? I said the house is owned by my wife. She asked so you are already married? I said I have 2 children, twins. She asked what is their names? I said Atul and Reena. She asked what are their age. I said they just had their third birthday. She said give me your house address. I want to see your kids. I was surprised by her asking to see my kids. I thought she might be interested in children and I have written the address back of my card with the telephone number. She looked at the card and said you have a phone at home too. I said my father got me that phone, he is in the department. She said if I could not find the address, I can always call you. On Sunday I bathed the kids and was dressing them in the hall. The doorbell rang and Chitty went and opened the door. I heard a voice asking is this Kumar's residence? I got up and went to the door. It is Loveleen. I had not expected to see her at my door. I thought she was just asking for my address. I went and invited her inside. She came with some presents for the children. I said what is the need for the presents? She said how can I come with empty hands to see the kids? I put aside the presents and said he is Atul and she is Reena. She lifted Atul and said how are doing to him. I don't know what he understood. He laughed at her. I never saw him laugh like that. I said he seems to like you. He never laughed like that. She said I like him too. Sat down on the sofa and put him on her lap. Sahithi came out of the bedroom hearing voices. She looked at Loveleen and looked at me inquiring who is she. I said to her she is Loveleen and to Loveleen she is Sahithi, my wife. Loveleen seeing Sneha's photo on the wall got up and went to look at it. There were two photos of, one Sneha was alone and a garland on her photo and one where she was with the twins. Seeing the garland, she understood she is no more and asked who is she with the kids. I said she is Sneha and she is the mother of these two. Loveleen looked at Sahithi and said is she your second wife? I said yes. She went back and sat on the sofa. She asked how did she die? I said in a fire accident. She said I am so sorry. Did you remarry to look after the kids? I said I married Sahithi before Sneha's death. She was taken aback by my words and said a fascinating story. I will hear your story one of these days. She handed Atul to Chitty and kissed him and said to him see you and started to go. I said will you have something coffee or tea? She said some other time I have to meet someone and went to the door. I opened the door said I will drop you at your car. I lead the way to her car. When we reached the car, she said come to my house next Sunday we have a party. I will give you a call and inform you time and place. I said okay and she drove away. I came back home. Sahithi asked who is she. I showed my band-aids on my hand and she is responsible for these. Is she the one who hit you with the car? I said she did not hit me, the car just touched me. She said it is one and the same. She rang me up at the factory and said to come to the party after 7 p.m. I asked her can I bring my friends also? She said bring whoever you want to bring. I asked her the address. She gave her address and phone no. I told Kurat about the party on Sunday evening and she invited them too. You can bring Mahira. Sunitha may not be available. We readied and went to the address given by Loveleen. It is a bungalow on the Koliwada beside the beach. The party is arranged on the beach side. It was my first time to enter such a bungalow. We went inside and I introduced Kurat and Mahira. She asked what they do. I said Kurat is the owner of the factory and Mahira works as a marketing executive with a courier company. She asked how do you know Mahira? I said we know her for the last 6 years and did not elaborate. She took us to the bar and told us to get what you want. We took the drinks to our liking and came and sat at a table. Loveleen said I will come back and went to receive the guests. We must be early arrivals. There were not many guests. A server brought some snacks and placed them in front of us. After half an hour Loveleen came to us and asked how are you placed? We said we are good. She said to me don't go away without informing me. I said I will not go. After another 2 hours, guests started to disperse, and Loveleen came and sat down at our table. One server brought a drink and placed it in front of her. She asked us do you need anything?